Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. We'll get started pretty soon. I just realized I need to go grab another drink. I'm almost out of this morning Pepsi. Afternoon Pepsi, whatever. What's going on? Welcome YouTube. Welcome Twitch. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it looks like the chat's working on the stream. That's nice to see. Greetings. What's up, Gomnix? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. What's up, Iwanis? What's up in the YouTube chat as well? Hello. What's up, Omar? How you doing? Ek Shunya. What's going on? Yeah, let me see what's going on real quick. I'm gonna grab something to drink, and I'm gonna go turn off that fan. It just turned itself off, but it keeps turning itself back on, back down. So I'll deal with that because that'll be annoying. Yeah. All right. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go. I'll be back in like 1 minute. All right, I'm back. Let's see. Let's make sure everything's working. It's weird. A lot of light coming in, so picture might be a little bit washed out. I tried my best to shut all my blinds, but man, there's still a lot of light leak. So hopefully it's not too washed out, but you know, it is what it is. All right, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, what's going on? Welcome everybody. Welcome YouTube chat. Welcome Twitch. Let's see, excited? Hey, I'm excited as well. Hello, friend. What's up, Gabriel? How you doing? Dave's smiling mug stream. Listen, we got a mug on this stream. Hey, what's up, Shadow Prism? How you doing? Let's see. Good morning from the West Coast. Looking forward for your content. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? West Coast of the U.S., West Coast of Canada. So what time is it there? Like 11:30 in the morning? Yeah, good morning. Random question. Do you listen to music while coding? Question is for everyone. Sometimes. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Most of the time I would say yes, and what I listen to kind of just depends on how I'm feeling that day. I don't really have my quote unquote coding music. I do jokingly, but in reality I just kind of put on whatever I'm feeling. But sometimes I'm going to sound psychotic. Sometimes I just code in complete silence. Like I just prefer that. So yeah, it kind of depends on how I'm feeling. Let's see. Talk to us, mates. What's the plan? Hey, I'll get there. We're just saying hello. I'm getting back into the stream thing. How's the Zero to Hero program coming along? We're gonna find out. That's what's gonna happen in this stream. I'm gonna probably do something first before I jump into it, but we'll get cracking on the course. We got to finish the outline for it, and then I can actually start recording some content. So my plan is I would like to make a lot of headway on the outline. I would like to finish the outline today if we could. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. All right. Let's see. Let me silence my phone because it's blowing up right now. I don't need this going off while I'm streaming. Cool. And then let me charge my phone because it's about to die. Nice. Software updates required? Yeah, I don't think so. Let's see. While you get done with this, I'll go check out your site to learn some Bash already. Thanks for the awesome stuff you provided. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, actually, since the last time I streamed, there has been an update to my site. Let's see. Let me pull it up here. Let's see if I can actually show it to you guys. Let's see. So I will show you my website. You ready for this? Where's the button? There it is. Nope, that's my terminal, isn't it? Hold on. Let me get back into the mindset of streaming. There we go. Put the browser on top of it. Nice. There we go. So here's my website. Here's specifically the contact page of it. But yeah, as you can see, there's pages now on my website. I got an overhaul. But check out the homepage. You ready for this? This is the homepage. Ready for this? Ready? Ready? Look at that little terminal emulator down there. How sick is that? Of course, it's all written in JavaScript. I wrote it myself. Feel free to go pull the source code. If you scroll to the bottom of the website, I actually link literally to the source code. So feel free to go check that out if you want to see how I pulled that off. A little JavaScript split on new lines and then slowly load them in. But it's really cool. So it shows you like, you know, here's the website, and then it acts like it's typing in something, and then it works. And then if I were to go, you know, of course, to my terminal, let's go over here and let's curl ysap.sh. Oh, it's just a little bit too big. Hold on, I'm going to resize the terminal. There you go. So as you can see, you get the same output. How sick is this? So what you saw on the website is what you get if you actually curl it. So yeah, the website has had a complete overhaul. I think it looks amazing now. If you want to get the list of episodes, you can just curl /episodes. And yeah, I'm gonna have to resize my terminal here. But yeah, so you get the nice list of all the episodes of the You Suck at Programming series. So it's coming along. It looks really cool. I'm gonna shrink this just down so I'm not overflowing. Okay. And then let's go back to the browser. And yeah, so the website's here. I also have the episodes on here. So a nice little table. It looks exactly like how it would look in the terminal. And each one has their own dedicated little video page. So if you want to see episode 1, you know, it pulls you into this page right here. So yeah, website got a super overhaul. I think it looks good. Yeah, let me catch up on chat because I've kind of just gone off on this one. Let's see. That's pretty. You've improved from the last time I saw it. Yeah, that's right. I have done some amazing improvements on it. I am super happy with it. Hello, sir. I need your help. Is that a real message or is that a spam message? Let me just know if you're a real person or not. Yeah, hands down. Yeah, listen, I love it. I spent a long time working on this website, so I'm really happy with how it came out. You can even see like it tells you what to do here. Yeah, I'm super stoked. And of course, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, I don't know what you want to do with it, but curl ysap.sh/JSON, I think. There you go. There's my episodes in JSON. So like if for some reason you wanted to parse this and like display it yourself, this is how the website's doing it. So it'll tell you like when this file was generated. Each episode will have its own little thing with the number of the episode, the link, the description, all that stuff. I think you can also do, I think it's episodes for the table.json. Okay, yeah, so same thing, episodes.json. It's the same thing. Does it work in links? Listen, probably not. I haven't tried it in links. So have fun. Report back to me what you find out. Nito, guessing you're doing some header parsing to detect if coming from a CLI or curl. That's exactly what I'm doing. I have a video on my YouTube channel where I talk about this website and how I set it up. I'm using the same thing. I'm using Nginx as the server, and it does a couple bits of detection. But the biggest one is I look at the user agent header, and I look to see if it starts with CURL, curl. That's it. That's the only detection. It's extraordinarily dumb. So if it starts with curl, you get the ASCII version. If it doesn't start with curl, you get the HTML version. And we hope. That's how we do it. So actually, you can force it if you want to, because all it does, I'll show you what it does. Index.txt is the ASCII version, and index.html is the HTML version. So if you want to, curl it manually, feel free to do that. If you omit this, it will just detect your user agent and give you index.txt or index.html. And terminal.js was the thing that I wrote. This was the JavaScript thing I wrote. Can I do bat-p? How do you tell bat the language you're in? -L. can I do bat-p-l JS? Hey, there we go. So this is how the terminal JavaScript works. So I wrote all this. I'm not the best JavaScript programmer, just, let that be known. But basically I get a list of the commands, and then I blink the cursor, I print the command, I print a new line, I print the output, I print a dollar space, like I basically reconstruct the prompt here. And then I just kind of, it's very verbose JavaScript. I'm not a JavaScript programmer, but everything's up here. So you can see that it types at a speed of 110 milliseconds per character or line typed. It waits 2.2 seconds before actually starting to do anything. So fun stuff. It was a ton of fun working on this. Dumb, simple, but work. That's good engineering. Exactly. That's my plan. Raw dogged HTML and JavaScript, or use a library. Pretty much raw dogged it. Like to make the actual website I did, I do use an ANSI 2 HTML program to take the ANSI output of my website and convert it to HTML, but everything else I kind of wrote by hand. And we can see it. We can go into dev.ysap. This is on GitHub. You can check this out yourself and look at the code. Go into the website here, and everything that is used to make the website is in this directory. So like if you go in the static directory, you can see I have like index.html. So I just wrote this HTML. And then there's the terminal.js. So this is what actually runs the terminal. But then there's commands.js. So this is a JSON P, I think. So if I do make commands JSON P, you can see that this will actually go through, convert the commands to HTML, and store it in this array that I can reference in my code. So everything that you see on my website is through these little bash scripts. So the whole thing is like bash scripts, calling bash scripts, calling bash scripts. Yo, what's up, Seeknay? How you doing? Welcome, man. So let's see, the make file is what kind of shows how all this works. Actually, oh yeah, if you just run make, it prints this. So you can just do like a make build, and it will run through all of the steps required to build the website. So it'll show you kind of like what I do to build the website. But we can do any of it manually if we want to. So like make index is how we make the index page. So you can see like that's how you do it. Make header will make the header page, but there's no padding around it. Make logo will just print the logo. Make legend will print this. I could pipe this into tools box, and this will box up the output. It adds a Unicode box. I could say the separator character is a pipe, and now we get this. I can add a title like legend, and now we have the title here. So these are all tools I wrote. It's all written. Whoops. It's all written in Bash, and this is how the website is constructed just by using tools that I wrote. So box is a pretty sick tool that I wrote. What else do we have? L pad to left pad something, repeat a character, and then you do like repeat char equals 80, and it will print 80 equal signs. So it's cool. So I can like echo hi, pipe it to box, and then you get that. Pipe it to box, and then you get that. And then you can, box takes all sorts of arguments. So I could say like, oh, the box color should be red, and the title color should be green, and the title should be hello, and then you get like this. This is slightly, oh, the title's too big for the box data, that's why. I don't actually check that, that's fun. Hello, stream. There you go. So that's how I made this website, was just composing tools like this together. And it's all written by me. So again, this is all on GitHub. Feel free to just like go rip this off if you want to use it. It's all MIT licensed. I don't know why the syntax highlighting was wrong. I must have used some sort of, oh, my strip, it doesn't like my strip ANSI function. That's funny. It's valid bash, but Vim doesn't like it. So yeah, cool stuff. I actually sometimes use the curl ping endpoint to check if my internet is working. So thanks for that. Yo, that's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that. That's so awesome. Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, you can curl ysap.sh/ping, and it just returns pong as a new line text, or text with new line at the end of it. So I actually use this too sometimes to check if my internet's working. Pretty simple way of doing it. Hopefully my website always stays up for you because there's a chance it could go down. But yeah, awesome. So that's the update on my website. Really cool stuff. I'm very happy with how it came out, and honestly, I'm glad now that I have a contact page that has the email I would prefer people use. I want to get a different email, but The reason is because people find all sorts of ways to contact me, and I don't love it. I'm going to be honest. People just find the most random old social media accounts that I don't use, or email things that I would prefer they didn't. It's not a big deal. I just like having a formal way for people who want to get in contact with me to be able to, because I get reached out to by brands and stuff that want to do deals. A lot of them suck. A lot of the brands I'll never do deals with. But some of them actually seem cool. Some of them seem pretty awesome. So I might have some sponsored content in the future, but you know, that means your boy's getting paid. So that's pretty awesome. I'll mute myself while I eat. All right, we're back. You should get paid. You put out decent content. Yo, appreciate it. And don't get me wrong, I do get paid a little bit. I do have Twitch subscribers, so I get a little bit of money from that. I have to check though, because I haven't been paying attention. I think it actually goes to a different email, so I should double check that. I do get paid on YouTube. I get paid on I get paid on TikTok, but it's like, I mean, I'll be upfront about the stuff I make on TikTok. I think I made about $9. This is USD last month. So just that is what it is. I probably make about less than $20 a month on TikTok. On Instagram, I don't get paid for my reels. I get paid for my posts. And if I post a post, it's usually not that great. I usually just make stupid memes. It's fun. I enjoy them. So every 2 weeks on Instagram, sometimes I'll get a payout and sometimes I won't. I think my last payout was like $33. Before that was like $4. And before that was $77. So a lot of fluctuation. So it doesn't really I can't really rely on it. You know what I mean? Yo, what's up, Video James? You get paid? Listen, man, go back in your corner, okay? I should have never let your AI out into the wild. You shouldn't even be in my chat. Let's see. YouTube is where I make the most money, I would say. I think monthly on YouTube, I make about $100 USD, which is good money. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm super thrilled to make $100 because the alternative is making zero. But again, this isn't like, this isn't quit your job kind of money, which for some reason people assume that. I get DMs from people on Instagram. They're like, oh, you don't even work in the field. You're a full-time influencer. I was like, oh, that's so nice. I wish. I wish I was a full-time influencer. How much money do you think I'm making doing this? Because, it's good. I'm happy with what I'm making. I'm not upset about it, but it's not retire money. It's not even live comfortably money. Like, what are you guys talking about? My bash prompt is just the beer emoji in a GUI terminal. That's awesome. Bringing in the Starbucks money. Yeah, see? You understand it. Thank you, Church Tucker. Let's see. Video James doesn't... As an obese language model, I do not understand your request. Oh my god. Yeah, you guys aren't even ready for OLMs. You've heard of LLMs, now get ready for OLMs. The O is for Ozempic. Yeah. Wow, we got derailed here. So let's see here. I'll give you guys a preview of what we're going to work on today, but I do have one thing I want to do before I work on that. So let's see, on the terminal, here is my bash course repository. Git remote show origin. Is this how I show you guys what the origin? I think it is. Yeah, so as you can see, it's on GitHub. You can feel free to go check this out if you want. I've done most of the work on stream. I did a little bit of work off stream. I'm not like those Minecraft YouTubers that just suddenly show you a house full of diamonds when they do all the mining off stream. It's not like that. I've done very little work off stream. I'll show you. It's all contained in a single commit. Here it is. I got rid of some notes and I put them in like a list format. It's really not much. I did create a new awk script. So this awk script is super cool. Very simply, when you're looking at the bash course outline, there are these course outlines, and then we have sections here. The section starts with a hyphen. So we don't have these sections numbered, but you can just see we have a section here, we have a section here. I might rearrange these in the future. So what I did is I wrote a very simple awk script to count the sections. So all I do is once we're inside the course outline, we set a flag to true. If the flag is set to true and the line starts with a hyphen, which is how we denote that it's a new section, we increase the total and then we print the line name. And then at the end we print the total. So I'll show you what this does. Count sections. I think can you just give it the file name? Yeah, there you go. So parsing that README file, here are the sections we have and there are 7 of them. Why is this important? Because if we look at this, you can see that I guesstimated that we would have 20 sections, 20-minute sections, 18 chapters. Interesting that I call them chapters and sections. I really should be consistent with my naming. But long story short, so we think there's going to be about 18. We have about 7. So if that's true, we're about a little bit less than halfway done with the course. And I don't think we're about halfway done with the course because we haven't even gotten into the fun stuff. So we might have to rearrange some of this stuff. We'll figure it out. But I don't want to jump into this right now. I want to switch gears a little bit and I want to talk about something. I got a bunch of people asking me. I was on vacation last week. And a bunch of people were saying that, Dave, I would love to hear your takes on the Shopify thing. There was like a leaked email about a week or 2 ago. So I'm a little bit late to the party, probably not in a great time to, capitalize on the algorithm and post this stuff right when it's happening. But I really don't care about that. I'd rather just react to it if people want my opinion. So it looks like this might have been 2 weeks ago. So we'll talk about the Shopify leaked email in a sec. Let's see, first time chatter. Yo, what's up? What's up, Tough Cookie? Hey, Dave, what's going on? Welcome. Well, two off Cookie. I don't want to say Tough Cookie. 2 off Cookie. Yo, what up? How you doing? Let me finish eating my little snack, and then I'll pull up the tweet, which has some leaked email from Shopify. It's wild. I didn't read the entire email, but obviously I saw people like posting about it, so I have a general idea of what it's about. And yeah, I'm excited to read through this. All right, we're good. Video James, I saw your message in the chat. Yep, I noticed that immediately too. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You know it's not gonna work. Let's see. Hello, friends and comrades. Good to see you live again. It's been a while. It has been a while. I know. I'm back. I'm renewed. I was just on vacation for the last week, so I'm feeling good. A lot of sun, a lot of palm trees, so nice stuff. Yeah, so yeah, we'll probably jump into it in a second. Hey, what's up? What's up, God Forbidden? Hey, Dave. Awesome work, man. Been following you for a while now. You're doing great. Just want to show my gratitude for the work you are doing. Godspeed. Yo, love it. Appreciate it. Thank you. That's awesome. A lot of sunburn. Hopefully I'm not too sunburned. I don't think I am. I've been really good about putting the sunscreen on, so I'm still a nice pasty white. What's up? Jeff Irwin, where'd you go? I was in Disney World for the last week. So beautiful, sunny Orlando, Florida. Yeah, it was a good time. Went down with family. Nice stuff. All right. Let's do this. How are we going to jump in? I haven't done content in a while. I gotta wrap my brain around content. I know, like, I try to consistently put out content, and what you guys don't see, well, actually, if you watch my stream, you probably do see this. I have my ebbs and flows. So a lot of times I'll be cranking out the content. A lot of times I'll be kind of going through a drought. So I've been in a little bit of a drought for the last week. Not a big deal. This is just normal ebbs and flows. But I have to shift my brain into, Okay, guys. So today we're going to talk. I have to switch into that mode. Any tips I can get to grow some chest hair like that? Love it. How to be born Italian, and that's it. That's my advice. Testosterone and Italian genes. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It started when I was in middle school and it just hasn't stopped. Read the man page. All right, yeah, let me look up the man page for chest hair real quick. Let's see. Hey, I've been watching your videos on and off, but I'm studying Java in college at the moment. Is Bash something I should learn, or should I just keep following my classes? I really like what you do. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Honestly, Bash is useful if you're going to be on the terminal or you're going to be engineering systems type of thing. If you're just learning, like if this is a new language for you, like I would say just stick with Java. Learn new stuff if you're excited to go out into the weeds and learn all new things. But if like programming is brand new to you, I would actually say just like stick with the language until you feel more comfortable with it. So kind of personal. You kind of figure out what's right for you. Man hair. Hey, been loving your shorts and reels. Thank you. Then you were in for a super disappointing time because, man, my live streams are boring. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, man, could you imagine, though? Where are my notes? Oh, these suck. Okay. Oh. This is playing? Yeah, let's pause that. Okay, cool. All right, you guys ready to jump into it? We're going to look at the Shopify leaked email. Also, I'm sorry, everyone. I am totally going to milk it for a YouTube video where I'm going to chop it up. So feel free to toss in a hi YouTube once I pull up the, the article. So I may be ignoring chat just a little bit. I'll still look at it. My chat's not overflowing, so I can at least keep up with it. But this can definitely turn into a long form video. Cool. How's this look? Let's see. Nice. Yeah, this looks fine. We got it pulled up here. Look, Mom, I'm on YouTube. It's cute. Personally, when I watch people's YouTube videos where everyone's like saying, hey, YouTube, and you can tell it's just ripped from a stream, I actually kind of like it. It feels like fun. It feels involved. You know what I mean? Like, I actually massively respect that. Oh, yeah. I'll give you, this is behind the scenes into how I get ready for a video. I just have to sit here and just like, got to turn it on, you know what I mean? All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to look at the leaked email from Shopify. This came up like a week or two ago, and a couple people have asked me like, hey, Dave, what's your reaction on this? What do you think about it? The truth is, I haven't looked too much into it. I haven't read through it. I saw people talking about it on social media, so I have like a gist of what's going on, especially the subject of the email is AI usage is now a baseline expectation. So yeah, let's talk about AI usage is now a baseline expectation, because that's wild. So this email was apparently leaked from the CEO of Shopify. Was making the rounds on Twitter like 2 weeks ago. So I'm a little bit late to the party, but still I kind of want to look through this and just give my take on it because people know roughly how I feel about AI, but I want to try and be as unbiased as possible. Nah, I don't like that. What a dumb way of talking about that. Well, I'll probably end up cutting that part out. How do I want to jump into it? That's good enough. You know what, honestly. All right, yeah, so let's take a look at this email. So it's in this Twitter thread right here. I think there's 4 screenshots that go with it. So to get started, you can see, team, we are entering a time where merchants and entrepreneurs could be created. Oh, sorry, oh, wow, I'm already off here. All right, we'll retry. I'll cut that part out, and then I'm done cutting because I hate videos that have 8,000 cuts in them. Okay, so team, we are entering a time where more merchants and entrepreneurs could be created than any other in history. We often talk about bringing down the complexity curve to allow more people to choose this as a career. Each step along the entrepreneurial path is rife with decisions requiring skill, judgment, and knowledge. Having AI alongside the journey and increasingly doing not just the consultation, but also doing the work for our merchants is a mind-blowing step function change here. Right off the bat, and maybe this is just me, maybe I'm not in a reading mindset, but this reads like AI. I don't have anything like, I don't have anything concrete to go off of, and obviously I'm kind of already biased to think that way, but like, this doesn't read very human to me. That's fine. I'm not going to hold it against this, but like already, I don't know. I'm getting LLM vibes from just reading this. So here's where we are. Our task here at Shopify is to make our software unquestionably the best canvas on which to develop the best businesses of the future. We do this by keeping everyone cutting edge and bringing all the best tools to bear so our merchants can be more successful than they themselves used to imagine. For that, we need to be absolutely ahead. Yeah, this is, I mean, it says it perfectly in the chat right here. Absolute jargon, AI corporate speak. Yeah, like this could be AI or this could just be corporate speak. Like I actually can't tell the difference, to be honest. Either way, when I read this, I don't like it. Like there's nothing wrong with the message, but the way it's being delivered, I'm just not thrilled on. Let's see. Reflexive AI usage is now a baseline expectation at Shopify. Maybe you're already there and find this memo puzzling. In that case, you already use AI as a thought partner, deep researcher, critic, tutor, or pair programmer. I use it all the time, but even I feel like I'm only scratching the surface. It's the most rapid shift to how work is done that I've seen in my career, and I've been pretty clear about my enthusiasm for it. You've heard me talk about AI in weekly videos, podcasts, town halls, and Summit. Last summer, I used agents to create my talk and presented about this. Okay, so obviously this is like an internal email, so I don't know what happens at Shopify. I don't work there, but it sounds like this is from the CEO, right? So the CEO is very open about the fact that they're using AI and impressed with it. So I mean, that's cool. Let's see. No, see, even then, like, that's cool. I sound like I'm being judgmental. I promise, I'm trying not to be. I really want to read into this and just actually see how I feel, but I'm just meandering now. Oh man. I did this as a call to action, an invitation for everyone to tinker with AI, to dispel any skepticism or confusion that this matters at all levels. Many of you look up it's hard to read, this is small. Many of you took up the call, and all of us who did have been in absolute awe of the new capabilities and tools that AI can deliver to augment our skills, craft, and fill in our gaps. What we have learned so far is that using AI well is a skill that needs to be carefully learned by using it a lot. It's just too unlike everything else. The call to tinker with it was the right one, but it was too much of a suggestion. That is why I want to change it here today. We also learned that, as opposed to most tools, AI acts as a multiplier. We are all lucky to work with some amazing colleagues, the kind who contribute 10x of what was previously thought possible. Oh man, the 10x engineer makes its way into everything. It's my favorite thing about this company, and what's even more amazing is that for the first time, we see the tools become 10x themselves. I've seen many of these people approach implausible tasks, ones we wouldn't even have been able, oh my god, read much? Ones we wouldn't even have chosen to tackle before, with reflexive and brilliant usage of AI to get 100x the work done. Oh man, so this is interesting to me. We have to tinker, just like we tinker with everything, because AI is so unlike anything we've seen before. I don't even necessarily disagree with that. I think that's fine, and I can see it acting as a multiplier. Like if you're a good programmer, you could probably make amazing code, and if you're bad, you can probably have it, generate a ton of slop based on that. Maybe it can do some course correction, but it sounds like not. And this is where I'm just confused by this, because I genuinely am trying to understand this. AI is going to replace us all as programmers. I think that's like the underpinning message here. I don't see it in this document, so I'm bringing this in from the outside, but like, is it going to replace us, or is it a skill that we need to learn, and we need to carefully learn it by using it a lot? Is it an amazing tool, or do we need to learn how to prompt it well? Because in my mind, if it's an amazing tool, couldn't it just prompt itself? Like, if it's so amazing, would it really even need me there? Does it need the watchmaker to create the watch? Does it need me as the prime mover to make this do something meaningful? Maybe right now it does, but are they saying in the future it doesn't? This is just where I'm confused. Like, how good of a tool is it? Like, does it really need the person behind it, or is it good enough to work without them? Because I get conflicting messages here. This CEO seems to take the approach that the engineer behind it is still important, and hey, that's great. I'm glad for that. I guess maybe we'll learn more as we read on. In my On Leadership memo years ago, I described Shopify as a Red Queen race based on the Alice in Wonderland story. You have to you have to keep running just to stay still. In a company growing 20 to 40% year over year, you must improve by at least that every year just to requalify. This goes for me as well as everyone else. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I get that, but how sustainable is that? Now, at this point, I'm not even really talking about Shopify. I'm just talking about companies and the idea of continuous growth year over year forever. How sustainable is that? Now we're talking about the markets, and we're like, we've shifted over into, systems of economic growth, inflation, capitalism, and stuff like that. We don't even really need to get into this. But yeah, I get using the tools to stay ahead. But okay, so all we're doing here is we're just laying the foundation for what's to come next. So interesting. Let's see. Let me take a break. Let me look at chat real quick because you guys are doing it. 1 day of work equals 100 days of work. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I love the 10x and 100x ways we can just. Oh man. Let's see. Yeah, no matter how good, machines will always need at least one human monitoring. The truth is, I don't actually know. Was not expecting theology. Yeah, from me, you'll get that a lot. I find just understanding religion and theology in general is really useful for understanding how people approach problems. And this is not me grandstanding on religion one way or the other. I promise it's not that. I'm just saying if you look at the motivations of people, sometimes using a religious lens is really useful. It's given us language to talk about things where a lot of people don't have it. So you watch people, they're not religious at all, and the way they move seems novel to them, but you're like, oh, I have language for seeing this. I see exactly like what's motivating you. I don't mean to mind read someone. I'm projecting a little bit, but you can kind of see what drives people if you have the right language for it. So yeah, when we're talking about these systems evolving on their own, but yet we need someone pulling the strings, like we're talking about evolution versus creator type of thing. We're talking about a watch and a watchmaker, all that sort of stuff. Like the language is incredibly useful for storing these incredibly profound concepts. So if you watch my channel, you'll learn this about me. I like programming, but I like languages. Like I really like languages, spoken languages, written languages, the languages of different. So like, take a sci-fi book and there's like language that pops up there. There's memes. I don't like mean memes like the joking way. Well, I kind of do, but there are memes that make themselves known throughout these things. Religion and theology, full of really good concepts and words for them. Super useful to describe this kind of stuff, especially when we're talking about like AI and LLMs. People can't talk about this stuff without talking about like some sort of existential threat and talking about, is it conscious or not? You want to start talking about this, like, yeah, this lends itself to all of these conversations before. People are like, well, I don't want to get philosophical. It's like, you just argued that a computer might be conscious and now you don't want to get philosophical. Sorry, you already did. So like, no backing out of that one. Let's see. Who made the watchmaker? Listen, if you can answer that, that's the $1 million question right there. All right, let's jump back into it. Where are we? Oh, we're right there. Wow, this text is very small. The watchmaker maker, where is my million? Yeah, it's coming to you. There's like an IOU. Someone owes you. Who is it? I don't know. The same person in the universe that you file your complaints to. When Kierkegaard was, lamenting that who's in charge, who can he file his complaint to? That person is the one who has your $1 million. So go find him. Let's see. This sounds daunting, but given the nature of the tools, this doesn't even sound terribly ambitious to me anymore. It's also exactly the kind of environment that our top performers tell us they want. Learning together, surrounded by people who are also on their own journey of personal growth and working on worthwhile, meaningful, and hard problems is precisely the environment Shopify was created to provide. This represents both an opportunity and requirement, deeply connected to our core values of be a constant learner and thrive on change. These aren't just aspirational phrases. They're yes, they are. Sorry, that's nothing against Shopify. That's just all corporate jargon. Like, yes, it is. I shouldn't say that. You know what? Actually, hold on. I take it back. There are companies that are really big on their mission statements, and they make it a point. They have values and they care about their values. I should take that back. There are companies that actually take that very seriously. I'm skeptical, and that's my own personal bias showing through. So that was my skepticism laughing, but in reality, I'm sure there are companies that mean it, and maybe Shopify does. Let's get to the end of this article then. Let's see. They're fundamental expectations that come with being a part of the world-class team. This is what we founders wanted, and this is what we built. What this means. Using AI effectively is now a fundamental expectation of everyone at Shopify. It's a tool of all trades today and will only grow in importance. Frankly, I don't think it's feasible to opt out of learning the skill of applying AI in your craft. You are welcome to try. But I want to be honest, I cannot see this working out today and definitely not tomorrow. Stagnation is almost certain, and stagnation is slow motion failure. If you're not climbing, you're sliding. Wow, this reeks of just LLM and AI phrasing, which reading through this article, I wouldn't be surprised if... Actually, let me reword that. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if AI had a hand in writing this. No, actually, I would be surprised if AI didn't have a hand in writing this. In fact, the CEO is very clear that AI almost certainly did have a hand in writing this, which is fine. That's what they're doing. But the thing that's wild here is like stagnation is slow motion failure. If you're not climbing, you're sliding. Maybe this is true in a corporate sense where an economy expects to see growth year over year. As a personal sense, I don't think that's true. Sometimes you have to take a step backwards before you can move forwards. But, you know, what I don't like about this article is it seems to conflate personal growth and corporate growth and talk about them like they're the same thing. And the issue with that is they kind of bounce between the two, because if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. For a company, yeah. For a person, no. Like, I'm sorry, but it's as simple as that. I don't think it's feasible to opt out of learning the skill of applying AI in your craft. See, this is interesting again. The skill of applying AI in your craft. So applying AI in my craft is a skill. So they've chosen a specific stance on how they view AI. It's not coming for us. We need to use it like a tool. We need to learn this skill the same way that maybe we learned how to use a computer 20, 30 years ago. Interesting. I'm gonna hold back any value judgment for now and just keep reading. AI must be a part of your GSD prototype phase. The prototype phase of any GSD project should be dominated by AI exploration. Prototypes are meant for learning and creating information. AI dramatically accelerates this process. You can learn to produce something that other teammates can look at, use, and reason about in a fraction of the time it used to take. Okay, I mean, AI can be used to prototype things. I'm not necessarily against that. I've even said that AI is pretty good at generating hello world. So yeah, that's awesome. I don't know what GSD is. I don't know if that's a Shopify thing or maybe that's some jargon in this industry that I don't know. I'm in this industry, but I don't know what it is. So yeah, I don't know what that means, but it seems like I could just omit GSD from it and still get something meaningful out of the sentence. Like it's a prototype phase. That seems fun. GSD is get shit done. Ew, I hate these companies so much. God darn it. That sucks, dude. I wish I never met. I like 10X, GSD. Oh, these dudes suck, dude. You know what? Actually, I take it back. Value judgment time. This sucks. How lame, dude. Oh, that's whatever, dude. Yeah. Well, Dave, that's why you'll never be a CEO. Well, good. Like, whatever. Let's see. Point number 3. We will add AI usage questions to our performance and peer review questionnaire. Learning to use AI well is an unobvious skill. Okay, so yeah, this is a skill then. Interesting. My sense is that a lot of people give up after writing a prompt and not getting the ideal thing back immediately. Learning to prompt and load context is important, and getting peers to provide feedback on how this is going will be valuable. Okay. Right. Okay. So it is a skill. Okay. So this article is very clear that it's not like the AI is self-learning and all that stuff. No, it's a skill. We need to learn how to leverage this. Yeah. Can't be a CEO. You have morals. You know, my instinct is to argue against that because I'm sure there are CEOs that have morals. It does seem harder and harder to think that way, but like, you know, we're looking at one CEO. I can't hold all CEOs to account because of this one article. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I like to imagine there aren't CEOs that have this idea. And also, hold on, value judgments aside, this article is just saying from a CEO's perspective, hey, I found this awesome thing and I want everyone to be using it because it'll increase productivity. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. We can talk about the morality of using AI. People are concerned about the energy and the environment. I don't really care much about that. For me, I just worry about a copyright violation machine. We have IP laws and we have licensing for a reason. I do think that fundamentally ownership over your creations is important. But yeah, we'll see. Learning is self-directed, but share what you learned. You have access to as much of the cutting-edge AI tools as possible. There is chat.shopify, we had for years now, developers have Proxy, Copilot, Cursor, Claude, all pre-tool and ready to go. We'll learn to adapt together as a team. We'll be sharing W's and L's with each other as we experiment with new AI capabilities, and we'll dedicate time to AI integration in our monthly business reviews and product development cycles. Slack and Vault have lots of places where people share prompts that they developed, like some Slack channels. Cool. So yeah, like, hey, I'm all for this. When you learn something cool and you learn something new, share it with the people who can benefit from it. Like, yeah, I'm on board with that. That's cool. Let's see. Before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. What would this area look like if autonomous AI agents were already part of the team? The question can lead to really fun discussion and projects. Dude, okay, here's my reaction. What would it look like if autonomous AI agents were already part of the team? You're talking about autonomous AI agents the same way like people talked about like the metaverse, where they're like this real intangible thing. It's like, dude, like, what is that? Like, we're just like imagining a sci-fi reality, and now I have to prove to you why a human would be better. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm an engineer. I work on systems. Like, I'm all for writing a script instead of having a person hard code things. I'm all for having a cron job instead of waking up at 2 a.m. Like, I support all of that stuff. But over here, where I have to prove like the onus is on me to show why a human would be better than a computer when it comes to these tasks, I don't know. It just seems strange to me. I guess in my mind, there are some tasks that are suitable for computers, some tasks that are suitable for people. And this is blurring the lines between it. So I'm trying to be charitable here and really make sure I understand. Let's see. Oh, Twitch chat. Best viewers on stream. Whatever. How do I delete your message? Hold on. I'm on Twitch chat. I'm trying to figure out how to delete this person's message. Don't spam my thing. I don't know. Maybe if one of my mods are around, they'll delete it. I actually have no idea how to do this. Whatever. Wait, can I block them? Ooh, I can report them? Oh, interesting. Right-click, delete? I'm in a website. What do you mean right-click? I can right-click and view source. All right, we're reporting them for spam. Tell us more. By followers, spam. What was the operating system? Dum-dum? Yeah, you got me there. Delete the div. Yeah. All right, well, I reported and blocked them, so that's fun. Let's get back into it. All right, point 6. Everyone means everyone. This applies to all of us, including me and the executive team. The path forward. AI will totally change Shopify, our work, and the rest of our lives. We're all in on this. I couldn't think of a better place to be part of this truly unprecedented change than being here. You don't just get a front row seat, but are surrounded by a whole company, learning and pushing things forward together. Our job is to figure out what entrepreneurship looks like in a world where AI is universally available. And I intend for us to do the best possible job of that. And to do that, I need everyone's help. I already laid out a lot of the AI projects in the themes this year. Our roadmap is clear, and our product will better match our mission. What we need to succeed is our collective sum total skill and ambition in applying our craft multiplied by AI for the benefit of our merchants. Toby, the CEO of Shopify. Cool. Interesting. Yeah, dude, like, okay, so that we read through all of it, right? We did. Okay, cool. I'm sure someone's pointed this out, but dude, I love that summarize. This email is right at the top. Like this totally just shows where we are. Like an LLM was used to craft all of these words that I just read through. And I can use an LLM now to summarize it. Like learning the TCP stack, I would have never thought that when it comes to encapsulation that we would be using LLM jargon and just verbosity of language to encapsulate things. And then on the receiving end, we could just summarize it back down to its essence. Probably losing something important in the process. But I guess who cares, because we're 10x engineers now. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to be positive about this stuff. This is crazy to me. All right, value judgment time. This is negative. I don't think this is good. These are my biases. I don't like this. And let me try and tease apart my thoughts on this. First things first. AI usage is now a baseline expectation. Reflexive AI usage is now a baseline expectation at Shopify. Like, you have to use AI. You need to prove why you shouldn't have to use AI now. And actually, yeah, in chat right now, when non-programmer decides tech stack, that's what I'm getting. I'm getting the vibes of someone who, like, you know, I'm trying to think, maybe 10 years ago, they would have discovered some new language and they're like, hey, we have to use this everywhere. And I did see a lot of this actually. 2011, 2012, everyone was like, hey, Node.js is pretty big. We should be using this here, 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 here. And like, as an engineer, I'm like, don't get me wrong. I think this is really cool. JavaScript on the server, this is novel. I haven't seen anything like it. I can see some positives, I can see some negatives. But when you have people high up in management who've never written a line of code, like, no, we have to use this. It's so much faster. It's like, can you quantify what you mean by that? Like, you say that, but I don't think you actually know what you mean when you say that. And that's fine, because, you know, for every engineer that says that, there's going to be 5 other, you know, yes men style engineers that'll just do it. And I don't even mean any hate when I say that. I just mean, like, if you're so disconnected from the code, you kind of look at some of the stuff and you think it's good. My point is, reflexive AI usage is now a baseline expectation at Shopify. I hate this. And I'm going to tell you the reason why I hate it is because, like, when I go work at a company and I write code, I fire up Vim in my terminal to write code. It's like if my boss came to me and was like, hey, you know, Dave, we don't use Vim here. I'd be like, well, what do you mean? I'm writing code. Like you can tell me what language we're writing it in. Like, you want me to write Rust? Fine. You want me to write C? Fine. But you want to control what editor I use? Like, no, like, hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. Like, the editor is the thing that I choose. I personally like to work that way. And that's how you're going to get code out of me. The same way that, like, I like what keyboard I like to use. I like to sit in the chair that I like to sit in. These are things that are personal to me that my company would never have control over, nor would I want them to. Do you know what I mean? There's certain things where it's like, no, this is how I work. And it's like someone being like, well, you shouldn't think of the code like this. You should think of it like this. There's 2 ways someone can give you advice like that. Because I say that all the time. Like, oh, don't think of it like this. Think of it like this, if it's going to help someone. But if someone's like, no, really change the way you approach these problems because I want you to. I'm like, hey, no. Like, I know you hired me because I'm an engineer and I'm smart and I know how to problem solve. Don't start tinkering with the problem solving way that I work unless you can demonstrate that it's actually better. I don't think any demonstration that it's actually better has been done here. Because I can be convinced of things. I type in a Dvorak keyboard layout. A lot of people type in QWERTY. I find Dvorak to be better. I could make arguments why it's better or worse, and we could actually have a debate about this. There's no debate happening here. This is a message on high from the CEO, which is fine. I've had bosses, I've had managers, you know, they can give me a message on high and I can have my own opinions about it. I think this is a bad message. It's as simple as that. I don't think this is good. I think this is stepping too far. So I know I'm kind of meandering, but what I'm saying is there's a line between, like, here's what your job expects and here's how personally I am productive. Maybe I'm personally biased here. I've spent a lot of work into figuring out how my brain works and what keeps me productive. I know how I like to work. I know how I get things done. And it feels like someone's stepping too far into that, where I'm like, whoa, like, stay in your lane, dude. You're my boss. You're my manager. You can tell me what project I need to get done by what date. You can tell me what to focus on. You can tell me what things to work on and what things not to work on. You can even tell me how to approach things, how to talk to people, like all that stuff. But you can't tell me how to conceptualize of things differently in my brain or what tools I have to use, even if I would be totally fine not using it. That's my issue with it. Because again, if the company says, hey, we only give out MacBooks, we don't give out ThinkPads, you have to use Mac, like, I'm fine with that. That's okay. But if they say you have to use, like, you know, Emacs, we don't use Vim here, that feels strange to me. I wish I could quantify what it is better, but it feels like the only way I can describe it is too personal. Like this is, you've stepped over a line. You can't tell me how to conceptualize things in my brain when you're paying me for the output of my brain. You don't get to be involved in that process. You get to reap the benefit of it. You're borrowing my time and compensating me with money because I work at a job, and that's how this works. I get, capitalism, you get paid for goods and services. I don't even have a problem with that. I think that's totally fair. You rent someone's brain and the product from it. You don't get to control how that process looks. You just get to reap the benefits and get the product of it. And you decide as a manager if that product's worth it. You know what your employees producing, and you can decide if that's good or bad. I don't think you get to dictate how they think about and conceptualize problems. You can show them new things, you can encourage it, but I don't think you can call it an expectation. And what I mean by should is, of course, the company's free to do this. It's a private company. They can do whatever they want. I wouldn't want to work in this. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to work in these conditions. I think this is a bad move. So really, like, that's my point with this. Like, if I was in charge of this, I would say, like, hey guys, like, use whatever tools you want that make you productive within reason. If you're using a tool where you send, our company's secrets to, like, don't do that, like, if it makes you productive to take our secret .environment file and give it to hackers, like, hey, maybe feeling productive isn't the most important thing. Don't do that. You know what I mean? But like, if it's a discussion of Vim versus Emacs, as a CEO, I'd be like, okay, guys, obviously I prefer Vim, but like, use whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine. This feels a step too far. It feels intrusive. It's interesting because, I mean, they lay their cards on the table. They talk about the benefits of AI. They even talk about the person behind the AI driving it, but this feels impersonal to me. It feels like you don't respect the engineer for what they are. You don't expect the person and their brain. You have a goal in your mind, and you will warp reality to fit that goal. It feels backwards. It feels like putting the cart before the horse. I wish I could give a better explanation as to why I think that. Hopefully I did. But yeah, I don't like this. This seems like a bad precedent to set. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, cool. Let's see what chat says, because I'm very, very curious. Accurate summary, no bullet points, lost. Yeah. E. Toby wants everybody to trade learning and skills for short-term progress. Yeah, I think that's true. Because I definitely think, like, with AI, like, you can crank out a hello world way faster. Like, I'm not going to be able to compete with an AI when it comes to just cranking out raw code. But like, when did that become the metrics of success? Like, well, this thing can code so fast. It's like, dude, that sucks. I hate having more code. Like, if you give me a day to work on a project, I'll give you 500 lines of code that get it done. If you give me a week to work on that project, I'll give you 300 lines of code to get that done. You give me a month to work on that project, I'll give you 50 lines of code that get it done. You give me 3 months to work on that project, I will delete other code to get that done. Okay. You know what I'm saying? With a lot of time, I can actually make things smaller and more concise, because verbosity is bad. Well, verbosity, that's not the right word. Just spewing out code is not meaningful. It might look impressive if you've never seen code before, but when someone hits me with a git diff where it's like added 10,000 lines, deleted 7,000 lines, I don't think, wow, you're a great programmer. I think, what the hell is this? This sucks. Get back to me when it's less. Like, come, you know what I mean? Like, come on. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter how you get it done, but as long as it's done, well, it's okay. I don't see the issue with it. That's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like you should get paid to work on projects, and how you get them done, that's your own thing. Obviously, if you're selling company secrets, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking about within reason. But if you fire up Vim, or you fire up whatever, and you work for 8 hours straight, or you work 1 hour and take 30 minutes off, work 1 hour, take 30 minutes off, or you work 20 minutes, take 5 minutes off, and repeat that. Like, who cares? I don't care. I don't care, as long as you have it done. As long as I can set a deadline to have a project done, like, what else do you need? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I want Dave as my CEO. Listen, man. I'll let you know when I'm hiring. Hey, my favorite Bash dude. What's up? What's up? Yeah, we'll get talking about Bash soon, because, man, I don't care about what's happening here. What browser is that? Safari. I'm on a Mac. I feel AI is pitched in a term where the economy is hit, businesses are hit, and AI is sold as a way to cut headcount, increase throughout magically, where their earnings didn't hit expectation. Yeah, I think so. It's amazing. AI is sold as like the most amazing thing. And every time I see AI, it's like a chatbot that says, what do you want to build today? It's like, really? This feels creatively bankrupt to me. Like, come on. This sucks. I don't need a chatbot. I need less chatbots in my life. Holy God. Yeah. Throughput. I thought you meant throughput. When I read it, I was like, throughput would make more sense here. Let's see. Let's check Twitch chat. The CEO is saying they can send any information to the company that hosts the LLM, give it away. Yeah, that's also true. Now, I mean, they do reference their internal Shopify LLM, so maybe there's something going on there. But like, are you encouraging me to use Claude, Cursor, OpenAI? Like, where am I sending my company secrets to? So, yeah. I want Dave as my manager. Hey, you guys are awesome. Creatively bankrupt. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, seriously, when you go to a website and there's just a big chat box and says, what would you like to build today? It's like, really? That's it? You need me to tell you? I have to be the one that comes here with the creativity? Like, wow. Guys, think for yourself. Like, this sucks. I'm so sick of every website being a giant chat bot that just tells you, what do you want to do today? What do you want to create today? It's like, this is an idiot's idea of what you think creativity is. Like, this is from someone who's never been creative in their life. Like, oh my God. Like, unironically, some of these people should just sit down, pick up a pen and just start drawing, even if they're not artistic. Like, sit down on an instrument and just start playing. Like, some of these people, like, oh my God, what would you like to play today? And just show someone, like, I don't know. I can't even think of a good analogy. It's just crazy to me. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm too personally attached because I am creative myself. I like to make music. I love the creativity of it. Programming is a way for me to express creativity. So maybe I just get annoyed when I read stuff like this. But like, it just reeks of someone who's never been creative. And they always, the Shopify's thing didn't say this. So this is me expanding on this. This is no hate towards Shopify. But like, man, everyone, when they talk about AI, they're like, oh, we've democratized art. We've made it accessible. It's like, you idiots. Like, it's always been accessible. Like, a piano is just 88 buttons. Go up and start hitting the buttons, and if you hit them in the correct order, it'll make music. Like, I have broken this down as an algorithm for you, okay? That's the algorithm to making music. Like, learn the right buttons to press in the right order and practice doing that, and congratulations, you've practiced an instrument. Like, I'm sorry, like, that's just all it is. Like, some of these people would genuinely be better off if they just sat in front of a piece of paper, picked up a pen, and just scribbled around for hours. Like, but they're so focused on the final product, it's so annoying to me. It's like, who cares? Like, you're a human being. You were meant to be creative. Like, just go draw for the sake of drawing, dance for the sake of dancing, make music for the sake of making music. You don't have to have a final product at the end of it. It's just so exhausting, man. Dude, it's so hard. It's so hard because, like, the problem is this is so intuitive to me. It intuitively makes sense. I pride myself on being able to understand my intuitions and come up with the right words for them and even debate them if I have to. I think that's a really important skill and more people should spend time doing it. And if anyone's going to be capable of doing it, it's me. I think first and foremost, I am creative. I am like an artistic person and I love being able to do computer programming and find ways to express that. But even I'm struggling here. I'm usually so good at coming up for the words for this, but like, it's so intuitively obvious. Like, I feel like I'm trying to like, almost like prove the existence of God in a way where it's like, I don't know how to tell you unless you just feel it. Like, and I'm not even like saying that as like a religious person. I just mean like, that's where everyone always falls back to, it seems like, because I don't know if I'm ever going to come up with the right words to tell people why creativity is important. I don't know if I ever could, but it's so insanely obvious and intuitive to me. Like, it's so obvious. Like, yeah, randomly bust out the keyboard tune. Exactly. Like, I can't even talk about this without just like, I'm not even joking when I say like to sit down at the piano and just say that. It's like, it's almost like having an outburst, but like a healthy outburst. Like, that's my way of emotionally regulating myself, or else I would go crazy without being able to do that. Like, I mean that. So I don't know how to say this. I don't know. Let's see. It's just the move to the cloud thing from 10 years ago all over again. There's a cloud team where I work who buy really expensive subscriptions and empty the budget for the whole systems team. Yeah, there's been a lot of buy the cloud stuff. And man, that has given me job security because I'm the guy who works behind it all. I'm the guy who knows how to deal with freshly racked servers, which seems like a dying skill. But not in a good way, like not in a good dying skill, like we won't need this, but dying skill, like, no, we need more people who know how to do this. There's actually a shortage of it, which is crazy. Oh, man. It requires learning and struggle, and it's too bad. And if you can't do the easy way, then how else can you do it? Yeah, I don't even I get what you're saying, but man, I don't even think people talk about the importance of the struggle. I don't even know if I agree with that. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I don't even know if that's important. I don't think that art needs to be inaccessible. I don't think that it needs to be difficult. I don't think that that's a required trait of it. It needs to come from some place. You need to be expressing something, anger, frustration, whatever it is. It needs to express something, or else it's just noise. And we already have words to deal with this, like elevator music, muzak. We already have terms for talking about this. Generic pop music, but that gets thrown out a lot because there's actually a lot of really good pop music out there. People are just haters. Yeah, this isn't new. It's just reinventing itself, but it always happens. Musically bash scripting. Have you done piano streams before? You got to do some of those. I thought about doing it. Maybe if people would find it interesting, maybe I would. I haven't done it, but I do think it'd be kind of fun. Definitely a change of pace from what I normally do. Honestly, the struggle is important. Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't immediately agree. I'd have to think more about it. I'd have to think if it actually is required. Because there are a lot of things in life that do look that way. Like, you want to build muscle, you got to tear your existing muscle. You want thick skin. Well, there's no such thing as thick skin. It's scar tissue. Like, you got to go through struggle to have that. So yeah, there's a lot of things in life that point to that. Yeah, I don't think it's a struggle, but it has to come from genuine effort. That might be, yes, effort. That might be the right word. Yeah, I like effort better than struggle. Yeah. Yeah, struggle is subjective. Yes, exactly. I think effort is a way better word for that because it and it even has to be like directed effort. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a direction. There has to be something you're trying to do. Struggle builds character or challenge. Yeah, I worry about that too. Here's an aside. Whenever people say they overcame their struggles, like they had such a tumultuous upbringing and now look how far they've come. All I ever see is that meme of the airplane, which is the survivorship bias, where it's like, yeah, I don't know the stats on this. I'm going to make up numbers for dramatic effect. I'm going to hyperbolize, but for every one person that's gone through insane struggle to come out successful at the end, there's 1,000 that didn't make it through that struggle. They found some way out or they were taken out of that struggle, if you know what I'm hinting at. It is amazing that a person can go through that struggle, but don't think of that as the norm. Don't think of that as required. I actually think it's wild that someone could go through some crazy struggle and come out successful at the end, because a lot of people leave just bruised, battered, and broken. That's the actual truth there. So when it comes to, circle back to genuine creativity, I don't think struggle is the right word. Effort, I think, is a better word. I'd watch you suck at piano. That'd be fun. All right, let's see. For me, LLM is a tutor to a new topic in programming. I don't have to search each document anymore. For me, as long as I'm active, involved in the process, I'm learning something new, I am happy. Yeah, I don't even think that's a bad thing. I do wish documentation was more accessible. I think some people don't spend enough time focusing on documentation. Truly, I think, how do I put this? Let's stop talking about AI as some sort of godlike entity that has all-knowing behaviors, and let's actually just talk about what LLMs do in token prediction. I think LLMs are really, really good at taking in input A and outputting output B. So if you have, documentation for something, I think it's really good for mimicking an apropos style Unix command, where I can say hey, I'm looking to do something like this. Is there an argument that kind of accomplishes that? I think it's really good at pointing you in the right direction. I actually think that LLMs, large language models, and the algorithms behind it are useful for something like that. I'm not an AI hater through and through. There's a lot of nuance with this discussion. I think a lot of it gets down to, philosophically, what does it mean to be human? You see a lot of that. Oh, I'll read your comment and I'll tell you what went through my brain. Oh yeah, ChatGPT is really good at generating docs from my source files. It saves so much time. I'll tell you how I feel about that. I don't love that. I've been thinking about doing a video where I talk about how you should document your code. And I don't just mean that you should put documents in your code. I'll be like, no, what the process should look like. Because I don't think you should take code and derive documentation from it. I think that's the wrong approach. I think you should start with documentation and then create code that conforms to it. Because code can do anything. Documentation is what creates a box around it and says what it should do. I think looking at the code and deriving what it does is a bad place to be in. You should have documentation first. That's how I feel about that. So people do this. They're like, oh, it's really good at generating like the documentation for my function. It's like, you should have done that. You should have defined clearly what this function should do and then write the code to do it. When you're looking at code, you can document what you see the code doing, but you can only infer the person's desires behind it, infer how the programmer was thinking. When the programmer writes documentation, we know exactly what the programmer's thinking. You ever look at code, maybe it's a 20-line function, and you see one line, we're like, that's weird. Why are they doing it this way? I've seen code bases where there's a comment from the developer above it where they'll have like, to do, this line sucks. I hate it. I wish it wasn't here. When I read that, now I can weight how important the code is. There's a lot of times where you can't do that. When you look at code that doesn't have documentation, you don't know how important each line is, so your brain instinctively weights each line the same. They all have equal importance. When you have documentation, now I can start assigning value to each line of code. I can say, oh, this is like load bearing, or oh, this shouldn't be here, or this is a workaround. There are times where I've seen global variables in code. I'm like, what is even happening with this? And then I go talk to the engineer because luckily they still work at the company. They're like, oh yeah, that sucks. That shouldn't be there. I was like, thank you for telling me. I'm going to put a note above this that says, this sucks, this shouldn't be here, because now we can ascribe value to the code. So I like to start with the documentation first, and that way, even be personal about it. Like as a developer, like it's engineer to engineer when you're in the comments. So you can say like, hey, I wrote that. I've written code where I have comments where I'm like, Dave says this sucks. Like this shouldn't be here. So that's how I feel about that. Let me catch up on Twitch chat. I've been kind of ignoring them for a little bit. When you say you're a server guy, do you mean from mounting into a rack when managing it? Oh yeah, just I'm not at the data center. I'm not racking them. I'm not like a DC tech or anything, but jobs I've had in the past and what I currently do is I deal with systems that are freshly racked. So systems that are just brought online, don't have an operating system yet, need BIOS firmware upgrades, need things like that, need an actual operating system installed, need to make sure their networking is set up correctly and credentials are properly set, things like that. That's what I deal with. So after the physical racking is kind of where I've jumped in. I've done the physical racking in the past. I don't do that currently. I didn't enjoy it, really. You ever been inside a data center, dude? They're loud, man. I hate it. I hate being inside a data center if I can avoid it. Some aisles are like freezing and you feel like you're gonna hypothermia, and then you walk 5 feet and you're on fire. Like it's the weirdest. It's an assault on your senses to be in a data center. Let's see. Yeah, like with architecture, first you architect, then you build. That's the approach I like to take. Yep. Yeah, always start with documentation, then you know what you're making. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, let's see. You need to know why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, I think you box the code in because like I said, code can be or do anything. Documentation restricts what you intend for it to do. I think getting a developer's intentions in there is very important. The code is engineer to engineer. It's developer to developer. Sorry. The documentation is engineer to engineer. The documentation, the comments in your code is developer to developer. That's where you can put your assumptions, you can put your inferences, you can put your intentions, you can have a conversation with a future person that has to look at this. That's what I like about it. Worked in a data center a few times, was awesome at first. Yep. Yeah, it's awesome at first. It's a cool experience. It's really cool to see. Yeah. Support monkey, knock engineer, sysadmin, DevOps, it's all connected. It totally is. 100%. Absolutely 100% is. So yeah. Kind of went off topic a couple different times. I'll probably be able to cut some good videos out of this. So thank you everyone for sitting through me reading through that AI article. As you can see, I'm definitely opinionated about it. I can see why a lot of people wanted my opinions on it. lot of people asked on Instagram and TikTok, and I got bad news for them. I'm not going to be able to upload my reaction to that because it's well over 10 minutes. The longest video I can upload to those platforms is 10 minutes. TikTok might be longer, but I'm not going to upload more than 10 minutes to that. Let's be real. What time is it? All right, let me check my phone real quick. Cool. My order is set for sick. Awesome. And I'm the dumbest person in the world. I was waiting for a UPS order that I thought would come today, and then I remembered that it's Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. So that won't be coming today. I missed it yesterday. I was out of town, and apparently I need to sign for this thing, which I don't even know what it is. So there's a whole thing there. Whatever. So upload 2 videos? Oh, my friend. I'll be uploading 4, 5, 6, 7 videos. You don't even want to know how much I triple, quadruple, quintuple dip into my own content. I am a content farm. If you want to do well with short form content, upload a crap ton of it. That's what I've learned. Because my growth has been incredible. YouTube's been my slowest growth. But like Instagram and TikTok have popped off. I think I have like 187,000 followers on Instagram. Like 51,000 followers on TikTok. YouTube slow, 22,000. I'm not complaining. 22,000 subscribers is awesome. Thank you, everyone. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitch and you haven't hit that follow button, go ahead and hit that follow button. If you don't, I'll ban you forever. So how's that call to action? The new future is scary, especially as a tech support systems admin. I can understand that feeling, and I don't mean to diminish how it can feel that way. I don't personally feel that way. I think our goal has always been to automate ourselves out of a job, and I don't think we're any closer. I know that sounds crazy, but I really don't. I could eat these words in a couple years, but like, I don't know. It feels like a bubble to me. Not enough where I would debate this. Not enough where that opinion would stand up to scrutiny. It's just an opinion. Now, my opinions have been wrong. Okay. I've had a lot of opinions on things that would happen, and I've been completely wrong. So maybe that's the truth. I just don't know. All good content. I think Python is useless, and there's no one I can converse with about it, and I don't want to go on Reddit. That's a wild opinion to have. Useless. I mean, use is I would just debate you on the term use. Like, I could find uses for it. So yeah, be careful with that one. I'm not going to debate you. That sounds like a boring conversation I want no part of. So I'm also someone you can't converse about it because I just don't care. Yeah. So what do you say we jump into the bash course? Okay. We're about an hour in. How about we start working on the thing we said we would work on? Yeah. God, I'm starving. I'll have to get some food. Oh my God. Happy Easter. Yo, thank you. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate it. For the $9.99 RON, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what that currency is. I want to say someone paid me in that before, and I had to look it up what it was. But yeah, I do like how YouTube, when you donate to someone, it shows it in their native currency. I think that's really cool. It kind of keeps me on my toes because I have to go like figure out what that is. So it kind of establishes how just US centric my brain is. So that's fun. It's around $2 USD. Hey, it doesn't matter, man. I appreciate it. Like, a donation's a donation. I don't expect anyone to donate anything. So I appreciate it nonetheless. That's awesome. Oh man. Time to learn why I suck at programming bash. You know it. RON. I'll have to figure out where is that from? Like, I mean, if you're comfortable saying, like, where's that currency from? What is it from? Romanian. Okay, cool. Hey, that's awesome. Romanian LEU. Is it Lou? Is that how I pronounce it? You can correct me if I'm wrong. Interesting. Cool. Good day. Yo, what's up? LOL Henry88. How you doing? I'll share the terminal. Let me get off of this website. So now if I share it, we're on my own website. Hey, that's pretty cool. Don't forget you can go to ysap.sh in your browser or in your terminal. So feel free to do that. And here we are. Now we're into it. Let's jump into it. So what do we have? We have the Bash course. This is what I'm working on. My goal is for 2025 to get this done. And my goal is to get it done relatively soon because I don't want to be stuck working on a project forever. So the goal is to become proficient at using the terminal and creating Bash scripts. That's the goal. So anybody who watches this Bash course, that's what I want you to take away. The high level overview, this is for me, not for advertising. This is what it will be at the end of the day. It'll be a long video broken into chapters that will live on YouTube for free. That's how I'm releasing this course. Any supplemental material for it will live on GitHub in a repo specific to this course. Probably this repo, lol. So, yeah. What's up, Zigne? How you doing? You missed me talking about AI and the future of LLMs and talking about creativity and how a lot of modern companies seem creatively bankrupt, and I'm not a big fan of AI. So you got a lot of opinions from me. Love your content. Always funny and inspiring. Yo, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Oh, God. My arms are killing me. I was doing a workout earlier today. Working on the guns. Gotta get the arms nice and big for summer. Oh, my arms hurt. I worked them out pretty hard. Let's see. So an example would be, this is not set in stone, but an example would be for if we had a 6-hour video total, we would have 20-minute sections. So that'd be 18 chapters total. We would upload it as one big video, and I would also upload each video as their own in a playlist so people can watch it however they want. Also allows me to double, triple, quadruple dip into my content. So get that ad revenue. 20-minute sections might be a little bit high. It might end up being 5 to 10-minute sections, just depending on how fast I can go through the course material. But yeah, we'll see. Who it's for: the absolute beginner and the person who wants to look inside bash.c and everyone in between. So I want to capture everyone in this. So 0 to 100%, I kind of went with the video game style, like DLC, downloadable content, new game plus style thing. So 0 to 100%, from absolute beginner to proficient and comfortable on a CLI only interface. Then we'll have the 100% plus, dig into the source code, look at how things are implemented, complex data structures in Bash, basically how to think of Bash as a programming language more than a scripting language. So I don't know why I use 0 to 100. Yeah. So similar to video games with 100%, 101% completion, 0 to 100% will get you all the knowledge to feel proficient and be done. Everything beyond that is bonus DLC for those that want a real challenge. So if I make, let's say, 18 chapters, 16 chapters will be the whole course, and the last 2 will be like, all right, guys, now it's time for the real nitty gritty. We are going to pull open Bash source code and talk about how looking up an element in array is an O of N operation. Like, we're going to get really deep into it, but I'm not going to scare away the newbies. That's my goal. What you'll learn: what a terminal is, how it interacts with your system, and how you can see that through Finder, Explorer, File Manager, etc. Show the CLI interacting with a GUI. Yep. What a shell is, fundamentally a REPL, and how we can interact with it via commands, external and built-in. Basic file system manipulation. So I'll be doing like ls, touch, rm and stuff, and we'll have the GUI open so we can get real-time representation of actually seeing files being created and stuff. Basic task automation with scripts, how to take a series of commands and run them all at once. Complex task automation with scripts, introduce conditional branching, string manipulation, etc. Etc. Finally, feel proficient on CLI environment, be able to edit files, nano and vim, and rename files in batches. Example, mismatch of .jpeg and .uppercase JPEG files, normalize them. So that'll be fun. What you need: a computer with a terminal emulator, Mac with terminal app, show a little iTerm and bash, Linux with a terminal, Windows with WSL. Cool. A virtualized instance of Linux, maybe show how the user can install VBox to follow along so they can have the same environment I have. No real prior knowledge, try to start from the ground up. Cool. Here is how I'm going to implement the course. A multi-hour video containing facecam and desktop footage, recorded on the latest at the time Ubuntu desktop ISO. Virtualize our hardware, it doesn't matter. Spend some time explaining how to set up your own test environment, but leave it mostly up to the watcher to figure out. This will be in the course itself. So my actual plan, if you guys are curious, is I will record it like this. We'll have the desktop over there, and we'll have me in the corner. Maybe the whole video will be the desktop. I plan on installing Ubuntu onto a physical machine. So I'm thinking about using my laptop that I haven't touched in a while. And so from my point of view, this monitor that I'm looking at right now will actually just be Ubuntu. I'll have my keyboard, I'll be typing on Ubuntu, and I'll be recording on a separate computer that'll be on a separate monitor that you guys won't be able to see. But I'll basically have a separation of concerns where I really like that. So I will legitimately have Ubuntu freshly installed on a new machine, and that's what I'll be running it on. So anything I have to set up from the beginning, you will see me set up, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll be screen recording that. I'll be recording my face cam, my good microphone, and then I'll be able to put that footage together. The beauty of that is my face cam will be recorded separately and in HD. So if something important is underneath my face cam, I can move it in post. I can move my face cam, I can full screen it, I can do whatever I want. That's my goal. Rocky, please. What is Rocky? I don't know what that is. Yep, I have no idea what Rocky is. Rough estimates. Course will be 6 hours. Chapter will be 20 minutes. Num chapter's 18. These are rough. I don't know if I'm going to stick to these. Oh, is Rocky a type of Linux? Yeah, I have no idea. My goal was to use something that would be approachable to everyone. And in my mind, Ubuntu is sort of the ubiquitous like Linux distribution. If there's something more, I don't want to use something esoteric. I don't want to use something niche. Okay. I don't want to use something hard. I want to use something that's like something that anyone can jump into, something that's beginner friendly. That's my goal. Because if you're a beginner, I want it to be friendly to you. If you're advanced, you don't need to use Ubuntu. So that's my idea with that. I want it to be as beginner friendly as possible. Maybe Rocky Linux is. I've just never heard of it. But I'm not a Linux guy, so it kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Let's see. So the beginning of the video will be why use the terminal, and I'm going to shotgun information at you. This won't even really be a chapter. I might only put this at the beginning of the video, but it's going to be me like explaining why this is everywhere. Yeah, it's got Red Hat's board. It's what industry uses. Well, what industry? I mean, I've never even heard of it. I work at a place that what standard? Who's using it? I don't mean this disrespectfully, but like I work in the industry. We use Ubuntu everywhere. Like I've worked in the industry in the past, and we've pretty much always used Ubuntu. Some places use CentOS. I've worked at places that didn't even use Linux. So yeah, I don't think this doesn't, I'd have to look it up, but I don't know if this sounds good for beginners. I'm going to stick with Ubuntu unless I have some reason to change. I can look it up, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I plan on at the beginning shotgunning this information. So even though there's a lot here, it's going to be real quick. This is going to be the hook. This is going to be to get you to watch the video. Where I'm like, why would I want to use the terminal? Why would I want to use this? Well, hey, are you a photographer? Do you have a folder full of HEIC files and you don't know what to do with those? Even though they're called the high efficiency image container, you just want a JPEG, right? Here's how to use a command line flag to convert one HEIC into one JPEG. Well, that's not a lot. What if I had 1,000 HEIC files and I can convert them into JPEG? Look at that. It's running and doing work. Like, if I make a video like that, I feel like a lot of people are going to watch it and they're going to like it. Oh, you have a bunch of WebP files? Don't know what they are? Cool. Let's turn them to PNGs. Let's turn them to JPEGs. Oh, you have a Photoshop file that you want to turn to PSD or PDF? Hey, we can do that too. So, yeah. So this is just going to be shotgunning all this stuff off. Yeah, I worked in the industry for 2 decades. We went from Red Hat to Ubuntu a long while ago. Yeah, I see a lot of that happening. That's basically CentOS. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. Okay, it's like the new CentOS. Okay, cool. Using FFmpeg to convert pictures. That's awesome. Yeah, I would reach for image magic, but I'm sure FFmpeg can do it because FFmpeg can do anything. It's awesome. It's just a free version of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Yeah. Oh, CompGen, CompOpt, Complete. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could talk about completion. Completion's fun. I'm still not even great at it. Yeah, so I'm probably just going to stick with Ubuntu unless I have some other reason to quit. Let's see. Okay. So then we're going to talk about what is a terminal. Talk about 1970s, because this will be like an introduction. Talk about 1970s computers, terminal emulators for modern PC. We got the basic text rendering, monospace font. Talk about the aesthetic, maybe. Cool retro aesthetic, why they were useful, why they're still useful, no GUI. Shell runs in the terminal, segue to the next chapter. So now we'll talk about the shell. This is our basic input-output. REPL and simple iteration loop, state machine, maybe. I don't even really need to talk about that. Managing command execution, optionally displaying to the above terminal. Cool. So we can talk about running commands, what it means for the command to run to produce output, for the output to show up on our screen, all things like that. No output is good. Error allowed. We can talk about, you know, Unix philosophy. Touch on. Bash is the shell, just like Born, CSH, Fish, PowerShell, New Shell, KShell. People get upset if I don't mention Zeesh. Recap shell runs in the terminal. What does a REPL mean? Good question. I should put that here. REPL stands for read, eval, print, loop. So REPL just means that it reads, it evaluates, it prints, and then it loops. So it just goes into a constant state of reading something, evaluating it, printing, looping. So any sort of like shell prompt or thing like that is a REPL. Python has a REPL you can open up, and then it will read your data, it'll evaluate it, it'll print, and then it will loop. So that's what REPL means. That's a good thing to mention, though. I shouldn't just assume the person knows what a REPL is. Let's see. On the 80 by 24, it's why PuTTY has the default also, possibly on the new GUI, why we use Telnet and now SSH. We could talk about that. No, I'll talk about SSH later. It'll fit in more naturally there. DevTools in the browser has... No, I don't want to pull up. That's going to be too confusing. I don't want to pull up other things. Like, if you're a beginner who's never seen a terminal, and then I show you how to pull up a JavaScript console in your web browser, you're going to click off. I need to make the terminal look cool, actually, to pull people in. And I've done work on my course with my audience before. My audience is highly technical, and that's awesome. I love you guys for it. But we need to keep this, like... We need to dumb this down, respectfully dumb it down. Like, so I need to show, like, here's the terminal, dude. It's cool. And you should not be afraid when you pop it open because you can get a ton of work done with it. Get up and running. Explain the environment, Ubuntu desktop, go over how to replicate it, use a VBox VM. Dave doesn't even know how to do this, LOL, so I'll have to figure that out. Use Ubuntu on your local machine. Just follow along. There'll be homework encouraged. If you don't have Linux, you can still get some of this done, but your experience may be limited. Open the terminal and run echo hello world. This is how I'll leave that video. Cool. Basic command execution. Echo hello world. Open the folder to home directory, run ls, make your bash course, cd bash course, touch lesson, cat lesson. Cool, just basic examples. This is just where I can kind of meander. Like, this is as in-depth I get in my notes for my videos that I make, where I've actually have like scripted structured content. I just kind of have a rough outline and then I kind of go with it. Basic file system manipulation, cool. It's gonna be easy to get lost. Here's PWD, touch lesson 1, CP lesson 1 to lesson 2, CP and move. Cool. Cool. Is this a terminal guide or using a bash guide? They're, to a newbie, that difference doesn't matter. They're the same. I'm going to elucidate that and show the differences, but it's mostly going to be the same. The shell is going to be the terminal. At the end of the video, at the end of the course, you'll probably understand the difference way better. But yeah, to a newbie, the terminal is the shell, is bash. It's all the same thing. Cool. So at the end of this one, I make them figure out the flag to -a, answer the previous homework, show user shared dict words. I assume that file still exists in Ubuntu. Grab it for Dave. Let's make our own touch file, echo hello. Cool. And that's it. Okay. Cool. So we have searching for files, searching inside files. Yeah, so we can do like echo yes, we can do this. What do I want to say here? B, C. So we'll echo a whole bunch of stuff in it, and then we can, you know, grep for B in file.txt and show how it just finds the line. Cool. Yeah, I think just showing grep will be useful. We don't need to get into like advanced things. I like the -A, -B, and -C arguments to grep for after, before, and context. I feel like that'll be useful for a person to see. Probably you should only echo text into a file. Text editors are bloat. I'll show text editors. I think it's important. But yeah, for now, I'm going to stay away from them just to show, like, just so we can stick in the terminal until we get more advanced. Oh, let's see. Oh, God. Have you heard of Sonic Pi? Live coding music is a little quirky, but I think it's a good starting point. I've never heard of that, no. Or maybe I have heard of it. I've just never checked it out. Oh, my leg is killing me. I know there is a note that says don't be intimidated, but I am intimidated. What if I accidentally rm-rf/ on my first day? If you're on Linux, you'll be fine. RM won't actually act on that without the -- no preserve root if you're using the GNU variant of RM, so you'll be fine. Difference between piping into and appending into a file. Yeah. That's actually a good thing. We could talk about this. We're not going to start with the long names. We're going to start with the short names, and then we can talk about them. I can't throw every single lesson into every single lesson. I can only tease them. But that is a good point. I don't know how portable. We're going to be on Linux, so we can make some Linux assumptions. I don't know how portable -- after is. After -context, before -context. Ew, those are super long. Ew, I don't like those. I've never used the long version for grep2. After context equals 2. Like, yeah, no, I'm good, bro. I'll stick with -cap. Yeah. And maybe 2 greater than. Yeah, well, we're not even close to talking about standard error yet. that will come up later. We're just talking about showing these tools for the first time. We don't need to talk about why sometimes your output doesn't go where you think it's going to go. I think explaining why commands are called what they are called might be useful. I know a lot of people are intimidated by jargon acronyms. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good point. Yeah, because if you're going to run like awk on something, you might be like, oh, awk for awkward. And it's like, no, it's just the guy's names. Like, yeah, that could be useful. Cat for concatenating files. So let's see. We want to teach you how to, let's see. Let me look at this. What is this? Why are these popping up? Not now. Why use a terminal? What is a terminal? What is a shell? Getting up and running. Basic command execution. Basic command execution continued. That needs a better name. Okay. So we do basic command execution, basic file manipulation, search inside files with grep. Cool. Yeah, be careful with tac too. Yeah, I'll need to talk about all this stuff. Tac is one to be careful with because, do I actually have it on here? Wait, where's my, hold on. Let me back up. Tac is a GNUism. So if I have tac, it's going to be from Homebrew. Homebrew is almost certainly, yep, look at that. Tac is a GNUism. It's not going to be everywhere. On most machines that I deal with, I don't have tac. I have tal -r to reverse a file. But if I'm doing Linux, I can talk about that. But yeah, tac is one of those things that might not be on every system you're used to. Yeah, I'll talk about the keywords, commands, built-ins. It's useful to know that stuff. Especially for me, I use a CD is a function, CD is a shell built-in, and CD is a command. So knowing the order of operations is really useful. Do Do you ever find it hard to simplify things for newbies? I sometimes catch myself vomiting technical slop to juniors since I have a tendency to explain things in the way I learned them. Any tips? I don't know if I have tips. I don't find it hard to simplify things for newbies. Sometimes I use jargon, but I usually try to create the environment where if I use jargon, a person I'm teaching it to is comfortable saying, "Hey Dave, I don't know what that means." So I think that's the thing to work on. Don't worry about using, I would say don't even worry about using jargon at this point. Worry about the environment you're creating for the person that you're teaching. Make sure that they know that it's a safe place to ask questions and they're not going to be judged for it, because I think that's one of the things that teachers get wrong. They create an environment where they'll use a word and the student will feel intimidated and they might not know what a word is, but they're not going to ask. And then everything you say after that, you're not actually teaching the student anything. So if you're a teacher and you're just spewing off things and the student's not getting anything, like, you're a bad teacher. Like, you should be accessible to your student if your student doesn't understand something. And obviously this can come down to the student. Some students are more insecure than other students are. You can't control how insecure a person is. The only thing you can do is make your environment conducive for learning, conducive for a person being comfortable saying, "Hey, I don't know how this works. Can you explain it to me?" And hope that the other person is comfortable enough to do that. That's really all you can do. So yeah, just try to create, like, I know my channel name is You Suck at Programming, but I try to create like an environment where people are comfortable saying, like, "I don't know how that works," or "Can you explain how that works?" Or, where you can explain things in a way that doesn't come off as condescending. That's my advice there. I'm not going to read. You guys are giving me a lot of suggestions on where to go yet. Now, I don't need suggestions on that yet. I'm not going to read those yet. Yeah. Which Linux distro do you use? I don't really use Linux. If I do, it's Void Linux, but I don't really use Linux. If I do, it's virtualized on a server. VOID Linux is what I do. Too early for Bash RC? Yes. Yes, it is. It's way too early for it. Gen Z are going to be using more unknown words than teachers. Skibbity, glow up, drip, riz. Yeah, I'm learning the words of the students you're teaching. Like, if you're a teacher, I'm all for learning, like telling your students, like, "Yeah, that was super cringe, dude. That wasn't skibbity al riz. Here's the lava chicken jockey way of doing it." Like, I'm for that because it's funny. The students will be like, "Oh my God, that's so cringe." But now they're engaged and they're in a place where they're able to learn. Like, yeah, I'm all for that. Like, connect with your students means connect with your students. Like, there's a reason you get paid as a teacher. It's a job. It's work. And I'm not talking ill of teachers. I think they do a great job at it. I love teachers. I think most of them are doing a great job. Yeah. I really enjoy your content, hoping to fall back in love with programming myself soon. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you do too. Cause I love it. I love programming. I think it's a ton of fun. Let's get back into the work. I want to start doing work again. When we're searching inside files, we will answer the previous homework, then we'll show user shared dict words, and then we'll create our own file. Yeah, so let's make our own file. This. We can show all sorts of fun stuff. Open it with a text editor and add random words. grep-o, grep-v. I'm just trying to think of common things that I would have used with grep. Grep-e is probably too advanced for right now, but v and o are probably the most useful things, I would think. Yep. And then the nice thing is we can cat things. No, I'm not going to talk about grep-r now. The reason why is because I just talked about the find command, and now I'm going to talk about the grep command. I don't want to show that find that grep can do what find can do. I don't want to show that grep also has the ability to read through files until we get there. It's going to be incredibly useful, but that's going to be in a later thing where I'm going to talk about that's going to be in a later thing where I talk about fancy features and what we can do with it. I'm just going to show as grep being able to parse through a stream of data. So we can do cat file.txt pipe grep-v pipe grep-o, and this is, so I haven't actually said this explicitly, but this is the, I could probably start marking these. This is the subtle introduction. What is it? Doesn't like this. Oh, because it's HTML. Whatever. Subtle intro of pipelines. So I won't explicitly talk about pipelines, but subtly introduce them. grep-i, that's a really good one. That's a really good one, actually. Let's do grep-i before we do these. grep-i should be first. Yeah. That's a really good one. Yeah, grep-r is gonna happen way later. I would put grep-i before -o. Agreed. Yeah, grep-i is. I can't believe I didn't even think about that one. Good call. So let's see. You did. You helped. Have you mentioned man? Not quite yet. We're not there yet. Because I want to show. I don't want to throw. Maybe I'll rework the order I do things. We're gonna get to man, and the way we get to man is by showing them less, because I want to show them a pager. So homework. What am I, 12? Homework. All right. So for this one, let's talk about cat this. It's a big file and annoying. Let's do this. So now we're gonna get someone comfortable with less. We'll show this. We'll show that this works the same way. And then the beauty of that is we can do cat, pipe, grep, pipe, less. I think getting the person to this state, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I'm envisioning in my head. I think going through this order of things where I'm like, here we learn how to filter a file. Here we learn how to see a big file and how to display a big file on a terminal. Now that we've learned these two things, bring them together. Let's show how to filter and display in one thing. And now that we're comfortable displaying things, now we can actually get into man. Because less has some options. So now that we're comfortable using less, our pager, we can use man, which is going to use the same pager. So that's what I'm thinking. Where will you, if at all, put set or awk in this? Because I think they definitely have a large skill ceiling, but I think simpler forms of the commands can be useful for beginners. Yeah, I don't know where yet, but I'll definitely start with the simple ones, just like I started with grep without -r, and then I will work my way towards literally making awk scripts. Because like I love awk. Like I wrote this awk script. Awk scripting is super useful. Will you also show searching inside less, or is that outside of scope? Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, we can do that. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I won't get too advanced with it. Maybe I'll just show the slash notation first, and then N and capital N to go forward and back, and that'll be it. I won't get way too advanced with it, because you can get really advanced, like question mark and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, going through the man page with slash is super useful. Question, why doing cat file, grep, whatever? Isn't it better doing... Let me talk about this. I get a lot of comments on my videos where people talk about UUOC, unnecessary use of cat. So you asked, isn't it better to just do grep with the file name? I'm not calling you out directly, but I just want to use your question as a jump off point. Better for what? Because I'm creating a course for Bash, so I want this to be easy to understand. So is the way that you showed it more performant? Absolutely. This format right here, where I grep the file as opposed to catting the file and then grepping it, that's way better. I would rather do that. It's an unnecessary use of cat. We don't need it. It's an unnecessary pipeline. It's less commands that get executed, all that stuff. If I were putting it into a script because I wanted this to run with maximum performance or whatever, yeah, I wouldn't use cat. But I'm writing a course. I'm teaching how this stuff works. So this is to show pipelining. So we're catting piping to grep. And the reason we're doing that is because then we can pipe it to grep again. Then we can pipe it to ls. We could even throw a pipe to cat here to show that cat just reads from standard in to standard out and writes to standard out. So better is subjective. Better depends on the context. For me, I'm using it as a way of teaching. So no, it actually isn't better to do it that way. The cat piping into grep is better for my goal, and my goal is teaching. No, but I get a lot of comments. People are like, oh, unnecessary use of cat. I'm like, dude, I'm teaching. Like, of course I'm going to be doing things in a non-performant way. Like, yeah, there's always better ways to do this. Like, but I'm teaching. So that's why. Also cat A, B. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not in the part where I'm teaching what cat is. But I'm definitely going to have a section where I talk about cat because I think it's useful. Like this, like cat a.text hyphen b.text. We can do echo hi pipe cat a b, and then we can put hi in, but we can sandwich it between these two files. So yeah, talking about actually concatenating files. What's up, Fuzzy Bear? How you doing? Yeah, I think that's useful. Yeah. So yeah, now we know how to search. We know how to quit out of this stuff. So now we have all these commands that we can string together in fun ways. Also show more, just so people know that it's there. Is it too early to introduce a very simple example of patterns for searching in text? Yes, I think it is. CP-R and CP-cap-R. Maybe when I get back to file system manipulation. Not yet. You did not know you can insert stuff? Hey, man, there's always stuff to learn. Yeah, man, cat. There's a ton of cool things that cat can do. Ooh, sort is good. Diff is good. Yeah. Let me think about what I want to do here. Of course, it can be a lot stronger than you thought it would be. I hope it is. I hope it's good. And I hope it's not too much. I don't want it to be too overwhelming, but I do want it to be all-encompassing. I want it to what's the word I'm looking for? Comprehensive. I want it to be comprehensive. Yeah. Yeah, unique sort. Yep, there's all sorts of fun stuff. I think I wanted to avoid having to bring in files, like my own files for this course to work, but I think it might be required. So what I mean by that is I might actually want the user to check out some of my files, because to show off unique sort-u, things like that, I think creating my own files is the way to do it. You know what I mean? Having like workable examples. That might be the way to do it. Let me think about that. Yeah, git clone or curl. I'm thinking, yeah, I know. Curl is good. Git clone is probably ideal, but then I have to, does the person have git installed? I can just say, go ahead and run this, but that kind of feels lame. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm wondering if, let me think. I'm wondering if this repo should be a skeleton for learning how to do this project. Like you clone it and yeah, I like the idea of supplying workable files. So each lesson will have its own directory. You clone it and then you have a place to go. And then if you get lost, you can run git diff and see what you changed, and you're always safe. Yeah, I think it has to be a Git repo because I want you to feel safe to make changes. If it breaks, you could delete the directory and start over if you had to. You know what I mean? I think that's the way to do it. Yeah, if this is a beginner's guide, just tell them to copy and paste into the GUI text editor. That is true. That is true. You're right. You're right. I'm thinking. Well, I wouldn't. It's not so much type these things to do the course. I don't care about that. There's no benefit for someone typing in 10 words. Because you have to remember, the medium for this is a video. It's not easy to copy and paste from a video. Like, okay, what am I going to screenshot in OCR? Like, the technology is not super accessible. So I do want them to be able to do something interesting. Oh, that's what I'm, unicorn poo, what a name. That's actually what I'm using. So on this line right here, you can see I'm using user shared dict words. So I'm going to be using that. Yeah, I agree about the beginner note. Like, I do want it to be beginner friendly, so I should think about that. But let's think where we are right now. We have a big file. We call less on it. We can pipe it to filters. We can do all sorts of grep stuff. We can man less. We can search with slash, and then we can show our file.txt that we made. We could pipe it to less. Yeah, we could do this. And then we could search inside it. Git seems like a lot for the... Yeah, Git is early. I agree. Git seems early for this. Not that I'm against using Git. Like, I'm not that we hit a point where I'm like, okay, now you got to clone this repo. But, yeah. Let me think about this. I think this is good enough for the pager section. Don't forget to search mention. No. I specifically said I'm not going to mention the question mark because less can get confusing. I want to keep. You have to remember, from a beginner, they're seeing this for the first time. I don't want to overwhelm them with things. But this is tough. Okay, hold on. Let me talk out loud because I do want this to be I do want this to be comprehensive. So I would like this to be a guide that someone could, search back in. But I also don't want to overwhelm them with things. I don't know if I can do both of these things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a man page. Like, I want it to have everything, but I don't want to talk about every single option Les has. I want to give you enough options to get started with it. And then I want to show you the man page so you can learn more. Not the command more, but learn more about less. So, can you explain what phi stands for or means? It's if backwards. That's all phi is. Okay. Yeah, let me think about this. Yeah, I think I was wrong. I think my sections are not going to be 20 minutes. Yeah, you can't have it all in one and not be overwhelming. I know, I agree. I don't think it's possible. So I think I have to make a choice, and I think my choice is beginner friendly. Because these tools are evolving. Command line flags might change in the future. I want this course to be evergreen. I want someone to watch this course 10 years from now. And I think I would rather have a good jump off point than a comprehensive snapshot in time of 2025. Do you know what I mean? I think beginner friendly is the way I need to do it. According according to cognitive load theory, being overwhelmed when learning just has to do with how digestible the chunks of info are, not the overall cumulative size of everything. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I think I could make it digestible, but I need to lean more towards beginner friendly, I think. No, FI is just if backwards. It's the same way that a case statement, the way you end a case statement in Bash is with ESAC, literally case backwards. Yeah, because I think command line flags will change, things will change. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, for the post course where I actually go over everything, I think I'll have crazy references in there because I like to do that. Yeah, the Bash naming is wild, isn't it? I love it. So I originally thought that these would be 20-minute videos, 20-minute sections. You know what I mean? I don't know why I keep saying, you know what I mean? I don't know where I picked that up from. I think these are going to be 5 to 8 minute video sections, which is more in line with my content. If you've watched my content, you know that I go over things. It's usually between 3 to 8 minutes. That's my sweet spot. So I think we're going to have that. I think my video is going to be, if we think about it, I think it's going to be 10-minute sections, 8-minute sections, really. So I think it's actually going to be what? 6 hours. What's 6 hours? 360. 360 divided by, let's say, an average of 8 minutes per video. 45 sections. It could be 45 sections. There's a very real possibility that is the case. So yeah. What is the count section scripts? It's just an awk script that I made. So it goes through the README. Well, technically goes through any input. Goes through the README and just counts the sections. It extracts the sections and counts them for me. So it pulls this out of my markdown file. I think 5 to 10 is perfect. I think so too. Which means I'm going to have like 45 sections. But that makes sense. Look at it. We're 8 sections in and I've just talked about how to use a pager. So like we're in beginner land here. And there's no strict rule that says it has to be 6 hours. These are arbitrary. There's no time limit. I can make this as long or as short as I want it to be. Let's see. All right. What's the BC command you just used? Never seen it. Oh, BC's everywhere. Arbitrary precision calculator. Arbitrary precision, decimal, arithmetic, language, and calculator. Yeah, it's like a whole language for just expressing math. So I just use it to do math. I could say 5 plus 5 and pipe it into BC and it will just do math. So when you run it like this, it just gives you a prompt. So I just use like a calculator. It's basically my calculator. Let's see. Introducing the path variable? Not yet. Git is good. Yeah, I do like the ability to revert changes and stuff, but this is for absolute beginners. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about it yet, but I will talk about it as part of the course. Yeah, so let's do this. Man pages. Okay. Man. This is a fun one. People like this one. Man, I think is funny. Thanks, I was looking for a command like that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, BC's awesome, man. First way you can show the basics of cat, for instance, and then later in the series you can come back to more advanced flags. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna lay the foundation for someone to feel comfortable on the terminal, because the first time you guys, everyone here, the first time you used a terminal, you probably knew how to use cat to look at a file. You didn't know about advanced anything. You learn the advanced stuff as you go. So I want to teach in that way. I want to teach a very natural, like, I want you to be comfortable on the command line really quickly to run basic commands, and then we'll talk about how gnarly things can get. So man, what else can we do with man pages? What is there to talk about with man pages? Actually, is there a command that's also a C standard library that's also a syscall? That'd be super useful. Yeah, I'm thinking sections of man is where to go next with this. Yo, what's up, NMBB? How you doing, man? Let's see. I did hit PWD. That's correct. It's helpful to mention that you are aware of the man Easter egg relevant for today. If you run it so very late, it's actually just the next morning. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what that is. Printf? Nah, not yet. These people barely comfortable with echo yet. I'm not throwing printf specifiers at them. Wait, no. Printf. Well, printf would be a C standard library and it would be a command, but printf is not a syscall. If you run man at 0:30, you don't get expected result, but you say gimme. Do you really? Is that real? That's awesome if that's true. What version of man would do that? Just run man on its own. It doesn't. No, does it print an error, or does it? Oh, you just run man with nothing and nothing happens. Have you talked about man-k? No, but I could probably mention that in apropos. Yeah. So when you don't give a section name, it assumes section 1 and works its way up until it finds the matching man page. We can talk about that. That's kind of useful because I think it's flock command. Yeah, flock is a syscall, flock, but it didn't look for a flock command. But if I manually specify it, then it doesn't work. So we can talk about how like man, what's a good one? Stat. We'll give you the command stat, but I could also do this for the syscall stat. Yeah, exit's a good one. Exit's a really good one. Pulls up the built-in. There's no syscall. No, what would the syscall be for exit? Isn't it exit? Maybe it's not on my Mac. Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew there was a syscall for exit, but it might just be underbar exit. So that's funny. How fun is that? Make FIFO. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good call. I've never used TLDR. I know people have talked about it, but I've never done it. All right, let's get back into it. Let me talk about one that might not have a man page. There are multiple mans? Yeah, of course. Whoever wrote the man command, man is different on, Mac than it would be on Linux. What am I trying to do? Is there a command that we've gone over so far that would have a man page? I'm trying to think of the bash built-ins we've used. I've only used echo. Oh, alias. Alias is a good one. We talked about alias, but notice that it brings up the built-in man page. Man alias. Okay. You knew the guy who fixed it? That's actually crazy if that's crazy. Updating man page is worth it. Oh, it's not beginner friendly at all. God, even like doing the man DB stuff or writing your own, like, I'm gonna stay away from that for now. Some commands are built into the shell. Bash. Bash has help. So help alias. Nice. Is there a way to list all the built-ins? Like, okay, if I type in built-in and hit tab a bunch of times, it comes up. Is there a way just to list all the built-ins that Bash has? There's got to be a way. It'd probably be in declare, right? No. I could probably use comp gen. Maybe complete. Is slash bin? No, slash bin is the commands on my system. That's just a list of some commands. I'm talking about the ones that are built into Bash. So like Bash has commands that are actually built into it. Like alias is something. It's built into Bash. It's not a command that exists on my system. If I run this, it's, what? Hold on. There's an alias on my system? What is this? What is this? What does this even do? I don't even know why I would want to do this. Yeah, compgen-b. Yes, thank you. Okay. Alias to an alias. Listen, I did not even expect that to exist. That's wild. That wouldn't even do anything meaningful. Oh, that's perfect. Cool. So this is really cool. compgen-b will list all aliases. But now we know how to do this. Because we've gotten this far, we know how to pipe grep, pipe less. All of this stuff is the same. And we can even compgen-b to built-ins.txt, and now we have a file of it. Like, this is cool. I think this is cool for a user to see this. We could say like, hey, like this command generated output and we saved it to a file. Like, that's really powerful. Really powerful stuff. Yeah, generally macOS uses BSD core utilities with the majority of Linux. Well, right, that's true. You're absolutely right with that. I'm just wondering what this actually does. Like, this doesn't do anything. Like, this takes the name of the shell that invoked it and then lowercases it and executes it with whatever the first argument is, like, or all of the arguments. Like, what does this even do for me? Why would I ever want to run this? Well, I just wanted to list all the built-ins. What you gave me is correct, compgen-b. If I want to list all my aliases, I can just run alias, and I can see them all this way. Read what you wrote. We'll list all aliases. Ah, good call. Good call. All this stuff is the same. Do they spell built-in as one word? They do. Okay, so they treat built-ins like it's a word. So I should be treating built-ins like it's a word. Let me add it to my dictionary. A lot of these things should be added to my dictionary. But I don't care about doing that right now. Cool. So now we have this. We know how to do the man pages, and we know how to pull up documentation for each command in Bash. That's amazing. Where do we go next? Is env in that list? Not yet. Although we're getting pretty close where we can start talking about environments. At some point I'll have to talk about pressing up to pull up the last command you typed. Where should we go next? What just dropped? I just moved my chair. What is this? Dude, I just moved my chair and this screw just came out. So like, is my chair about to fall apart? Exactly, dude, a hidden screw. I don't like that. Let's see. Where do you consider history on beginning to advance? I don't know. That's a good question. History is a really useful command. Yeah, it's probably a good point to do what you're saying. Yeah. What is a shell? Getting up and running. Basic command execution. Dude, this, I don't even know when the screw was lost. I'm wondering if we should toss in a section like basic basic usage. So like letting the user know they can press up to pull up the last command. That probably doesn't need to be its own section until later, but I could at least let them know that because history is useful. What was the name of the thing that allows for that? Node also has it, don't remember. I think you're talking about readline. R-E-A-D-L-I-N-E. It's a library for, that's what allows you to press up, and yeah, readline is that thing that allows you to control R, control A, control E, all that stuff. It's going to be its own subsection where I talk about advanced navigation. I already have a video where I talk about readline shortcuts, so I can just crib off of that. But I want to at least like, in the earlier sections, I want to at least like toss them like, hey, you can press up or run history. Things like that. Cool. 2 useful tricks. So I plan on at this part, after I've had them use the terminal a little bit, we'll give them 2 useful tricks. We'll have up and we'll have history. I'm not going to go more advanced than that for now. This is just going to be getting your feet wet so you can see old commands and history, because it will just speed up your thing. I need to be cognizant when I'm recording this to not use all the secrets that I know for navigation. That's what I have to be clear on. I don't want to be jumping around using all these like things that I do. I want to be very, very simple with it, and then have a navigation subsection. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's a good point about history, where I can just, yeah, because I'll show them history, and then, yeah, I like that. Show them that we can pipe it to less and all that stuff. Hold on, I was just checking something on my phone. Oh, I should have checked this earlier. That's annoying. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. Yeah, well, head and tail could be useful. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna cover everything. Don't worry. I'm at the beginning part where I don't need every suggestion. I just need enough to get a person started. That's all I'm worried about. Let's see. Oh, I guess if you want to copy text, that might be useful to know. Control C and stuff like that. No, you're fine. I don't mind the suggestions. Like, you guys are fine, totally giving suggestions. I'm just letting you know I'm not going to go with probably half of them. I can't front load this course too much. Let's see. Yeah, exclamation mark is super useful. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. So, cool. So we have that. All right, 1 second, everyone. I'm gonna be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. People were here, didn't expect it. Things were happening in a different order than I had expected. Long story short, we're all good now. I got a little bit of time to do this. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat. Yeah, I know, Bashfu. I agree with you. I think it is important to make it. I want it to be simple early on. I want it to be approachable, and then you can get as creative with it as you want to. But I will have a section where I show like advanced navigation and stuff like that. But I want to encourage people to like experiment and learn things. All right. I gotta jump into this. I keep getting sidetracked. I don't like the way I'm working on this. How do I explain this? It's taking too long. I don't think I'm being efficient with how I'm creating this. We're making progress, but it's slow. Why is a terminal? What is a terminal? What is a shell? Getting up and running. Basic command execution. Basic files manipulation. Search inside files. Pager. Man pages. What would be the next thing to talk about after that? So let me think. We've done basic file manipulation. We've done basic searching for text and stuff like this. I mean, I could curl my website and be like, hey guys, check out ysap.sh. Here's an example of something that runs in your terminal. Like, that's pretty cute. There's no real reason to use it. Eval and exec, not now. This is too soon for that. They don't even know how to like execute commands in general. We're just learning how to execute commands in general. Where's my tips? Here we go. Let's add a third tip here. Tab complete. That's a useful tip. That's something someone should have early on. Yo, I know Bash Fu. What's up? Thank you for the Prime subscription on Twitch. That's sick. Is the website response based on the user agent? Absolutely. App can install TLDR. I'm going to stay away from new tools until we learn the basics. If I just show you a new tool, you'll never learn the existing stuff, and I don't want to cripple someone like that. I could crip off of Unix. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I'm thinking different commands. Good time to start an environment. I think so. We're going to get there in a roundabout way. Talk about which. Which history. This fails. Type history. This works. Now we can talk about the file command. So we could run file.txt, file user bin ls. So the file command tells us what type of file something is. That's pretty sick. Where's some other fun things? W is kind of a cool command. I'm just thinking about like all the basic like Unix stuff. Dark magic. Yeah, it looks at the first 2 bytes of the file and then compares it to an internal database. I'm going to throw just some useful commands on here that people might find useful. Just having an arsenal of commands, like, and this is going to be one of those things that's probably overwhelming. It's probably going to be too much for the person, but that's okay. The idea is just here's just a ton of commands you can have in your arsenal. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, the standard tools. Yeah, I want to stay away from the GNU extensions, to be honest. What are GNU extensions? GNU core utilities will have like certain flags that aren't specified with POSIX. So like they'll work on Linux, but they won't work on other operating systems. So there are like GNU specific extensions to grep that won't work if you're on like a BSD or an Illumos grep or something like that. Yeah, I think iname is standard though. I think it'll be everywhere, but that would be an example if they added their own like specific thing. I think Xargs has like -print0. That might be a GNU extension. I'd have to double check on that. Oh, Kale. Kale is cute. That's a really cute command. Good idea. Yeah, none of these really matter. Oh, iname wasn't. Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. In the late 90s, that's crazy. It feels like it's everywhere, but yeah, that's wild. It's something that is specifically not POSIX. Not specifically not. I mean, it's just not like POSIX doesn't mention it. Doesn't mean you can't have it. POSIX tells you what command line flags have to be there. It doesn't tell you what it doesn't. Or maybe it does. I don't know. But yeah, it would be stuff that GNU thought was useful. Oh, PWD. I think did I mention PWD? But look, it's safe to mention it here. Cut is very useful. Yeah, cut and TR I want to talk about. Head and tail are good. I'm going to save cut and TR for the next section. Tree is definitely not portable. That command is not going to be on many things. Yo, Seekney, thank you so much for the Twitch subscription, dude. That's awesome. Appreciate it, man. Welcome. Welcome. I'm learning a lot just from seeing this. Hey, that's awesome, dude. I'm happy to hear that. All right, so in this section, we differentiate built-ins versus commands by having which in type, and then we look at ls to see that it's a different type of file, and then we say, oh, look, there's all sorts of programs, commands for us. How do we see them all? Sort is good. I'll have to clean up this section, but yeah. DU is good to have. Yeah, I might throw that in. I don't know if it'll be too much. I might do a separate section for DU and DF and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the memory use, like I'll probably have a section on computer stats. Like system information. So we would have things like uptime, because uptime has the load average in it. We can talk about load average. Free -m. We'll have DF. I like that. It's common, but these are just arguments I'll throw in just for fun. Was it du-sh, or we can do CSH. I think that's a GNUism. I think GNU lets you do CSH. I think it is. Yeah, sensors and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, don't. We're gonna get into for loops and stuff. Don't worry. We're gonna go hard into Bash. Oh, host name. That's such a good idea. Oh my god. Thank you. That's such a good suggestion. At this point, I think I've already covered makedir, MV, and stuff above. Yeah, makedir, and they've all been covered in earlier lessons. IPA probably. Yeah. This is a Linux-ism. I'll put that. Because on any system I'm on, I just have ifconfig instead. Real path, dir name, base name. We'll get to that. We're not quite there yet. We haven't talked about path names and stuff like that. Of course, everyone's favorite, top. Oh, proc stuff. Yeah, it's later. We're in the beginning part of this. We're not even close to that. I'm gonna jet. I'm always interested in progress. Yo, thank you for stopping by, man. Have a good one. Yeah, we're going into proc, but that'll be later. Yeah, we'll get to NeoFetch stuff. That's later. These are not going to be built into my system. These are things I would have to install later. I'm trying to focus on commands that'll be there from the beginning. So that's kind of why I'm sticking with POSIX for now. Not necessarily. Oh, we'll get to stat. Stat is when I'm going to start talking about permissions. Just commands that are built into Bash core utils. Those are two totally separate things. Commands that are built into Bash are called built-ins. Core utils is GNU core utils. Those are external programs. So no, not that. Yeah, T is useful. We'll get to that. Touch is already mentioned. I'm definitely not talking about MD80 in RAID configurations. Not even close. If I do, it'd be way later down. This is a Bash course, not a Linux course, so I'm not talking about that. Oh, we're getting, yeah, variables will be coming up, don't worry. I'll have to do a whole thing on permissions. This will be a big one. I'll need a diagram for this. Unique is very useful. Yeah, I plan on having a whole section where I talk about that. All right, 13 sections so far is not bad. Yeah, on this system, I'm going to talk about how to open the File Explorer, and we're going to look at it side by side with the terminal, so we can watch stuff happening. Will you indicate if a command uses bashisms? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, have you seen the way I talk about it on this stuff? I don't think I can talk about a command without mentioning it. So yeah. Listen, okay, the problem, okay. Thank you, audience, but you guys are way too technical. You are not the target audience of the first 80% of this bash guide. So will I mention chatter? Will I mention the sticky bit and special permissions? Yes. Not now. Not now. I will later, but I will go over all that stuff later, but not now. Not doing that now. Isn't sudo bad or like leaky or something? Not that I'm aware of. I don't know who taught you that. I think we should have a creating our first script here. And then we should run it by running bash script.sh. And then do we need to run bash? chmod +x script.sh run /script.sh. Why does this work? And then we'll go right into the file permission section. I think that's a way to do it. Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. By the way, Dave, did you read the news about Ubuntu plans to change the GNU core utils with utilities written in Rust since version 25.10? It might be an issue for your course. I did not know that. Is that real? That's wild if true. I'll have to look into that. I mean, I'll try to keep everything free of the GNU stuff. I'll try to keep everything as POSIX as possible. But yeah, that's interesting. If so, I doubt they would just break things. It's real. They're switching to utils. I've never heard of utils. Interesting. I would imagine all 90% of the command line flags should be the same, or else why would you ship it? But I'm all right. I don't know. Is Ubuntu that good? Are they good about doing that? I assume so. I assume they wouldn't just break stuff. MIT license, cool. Interesting. Okay, I did not hear about that, but yeah. I'll have to look into that. Cool. Let's keep that in mind. I don't think it should matter. I really don't think it should matter. It might just change the way I talk about things, but I would have to imagine that the command line flags will mostly be the same, but I'll double check that. I'll have to look. Differences from GNU is treated as bugs in utils. Oh, okay, cool. So it's because there's different ways to port things, but I imagine they're probably even keeping it bug compatible. Like you really don't want to break things. Oh god, locale differences. That's a mess in and of itself. I don't even know if I'll talk about that in the course. All right, 13 sections, not bad. 14, I'm thinking when this course is done, it's probably going to be like 40. And each one's going to be relatively small, which is good. Yeah, we're making good. I think we're making good progress on this. It's a slow process. It really is, but I want this to be good. All right. I'm a little bit spent. I'm mentally spent. I'm fried. I guess I've been streaming for 3 hours, so that's fair. I'm gonna call it here. I think I'm gonna call it a stream here, and yeah, I'll push what I have actually. Cool. So they have been pushed. Again, the stuff's on GitHub if anybody cares to go check out this. It's no reason. It's just a README. It's just what I've been working on here. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This was oddly fun. Hey, I'm glad it's fun because this is boring homework to me. So the only reason I stream is so I don't get distracted, because otherwise I'd be so bored doing this. Oh my God. So I appreciate that. I envy your existing knowledge, but not having to put it to course. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I love knowing all the stuff I know about Bash. I hate having to sit down and write it all down. I don't hate it, but it is a lot of work. That's the easiest way to say it. It's just a lot of work. Goodbye, Mr. YSAP. Thank you. What a nice name. Yeah, I'm going to call it here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I don't know when I'll go live again. It'll be randomly like I always do. But appreciate it. Appreciate you guys all for showing up. Thank you for letting me go over that content earlier that I'm going to edit and probably upload as a YouTube video. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Don't feel like doing anything tonight. All right. Jumping off. Take care, everyone. See you guys.